Welcome, everybody, back to the Tiz Talk podcast. It's your host, Chuck Tiz, and I got my motherfucking co-host sitting right next to me. We got a new couch, by the way.
Well, we got it off the side of the road, one of those ones that said free on it.
Yeah, it said free on it. Don't mind the crack in the wall either. But we got two woke on the line.
No bugs, no fleas, no bed bugs, so it's all good.
Yeah, free is free, dude. These days, inflation, everything. But yeah, we got two woke, everybody. Two woke to go motherfucking broke.
Baby.
Woo, woo, woo. It's May. Summer's almost here, man. We're 4 months in 2022, and what a fucked up year it's been so far. I say fucked up, but the economy, everything that's going on, it hasn't been a bad year personally. It's just been a weird year, I think, across the board.
Yeah.
I can't complain. It's May. It's mental health awareness month. I know I like to harp on this, but Tiz gang, your boy Tiz is not embarrassed to say the month of April was probably the roughest mental health month I have had ever, if not close to what I went through back in May of 21. I think this is way worse. This has been the roughest mental, and it's all good. I'm not complaining. I'm just being open about it. And since it is Mental Health Awareness Month, I like to talk about it a little bit tonight, but we don't need to jump right into it right away. Too woke, what's up, man? What's good with it?
Man, nothing much, man. Just working on a little real estate project, and just been chilling, and yeah, man.
I mean, that's basically the best way to live these days, in my opinion. Just, not doing too much crazy shit. I mean, we're in our 30s, so it's like today was a crazy day. All I wanted to do was come home and chill. So
yeah,
I don't go out. I don't do that kind of stuff anymore. And I'm single.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fucking single. Hey, this couch is more fitting than Homer's couch, by the way. We fit on it better.
Yeah, we do, man. We do. Look at that glass, man. That's pretty tight.
Yeah, I got some matching ones just like it, thanks to you when you came in town in December. That Band-Aid rum.
Worth the shitty rum. Worth every penny of the shitty rum. I mean, these glasses are worth, a few bucks a piece, I'd say.
Hey, man, I'll drink wine out of them. I'll drink beer out of them. I'll drink rum out of them. I don't care.
Yeah, man.
I mean, they got the Montezuma mask or whatever those things are on there. I mean, shit.
The tiki.
Tiki. What am I talking about? This is tropical shit. I'm talking about Montezuma.
Yeah. Did you ever get a bottle of that Ron Z XO? Oh my gosh, man!
I haven't been drinking a lot of liquor. I haven't been drinking a lot at all lately.
Yeah, I feel you. That Ron Z XO, dude. It is. I remember before I was like debating if it was really better than it's better. It's so good.
It hits. Man. It just took a little time to kind of appreciate it a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, it's so good, man.
Hey, man. I mean, there's a reason why it's XL, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Especial.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, I'm jealous. I don't have any rum with me today. I'm just drinking some Lagunitas Daytime IPA. It's a very low ABV. It's like 3.5% IPA. Oh. Very drinkable. Then you don't get too tipsy off that shit like IPAs normally. 2 or 3 of those, you just feel a little hoo. This is like a nice little summer drinking IPA, man. It's more like a pale ale. Like, I'll show you the can. Because, gang, if you guys get a chance to check it out, it's the Lagunitas Daytime. Oh, the camera's being a little trippy there. Huh? Daytime IPA. 3 carbs. Oh, shit. 3 carbs and 98 calories. Whatever the fuck. So it's actually pretty legit. I ordered the Lagunitas combo pack. It's like, 4 different types of IPAs, like 3 cans of each. I just wanted to try a bunch of different ones. I don't know. I love these IPAs, man. IPAs. Anyways, not the point of the show.
No,
but I did put together a little list of things. And then since there's been so much shit going on, it seems like we're doing a pod every month, 2 or 3 months now. It's like we can run through so much shit since the last episode was 3.5 fucking hours.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that's some Joe Rogan shit right there, fam. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anybody listened to that whole thing except for me. Because I had to fucking edit it. Actually, I didn't edit it. It was too long. I just threw it out there, man. Let it go raw with it. Raw with it. There was no intro song to it, bro. We just let that thing drop. Y'all want to hear a good episode? Go back and watch the Show Us Your Papers episode. But anyways, so tomorrow is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. May the 4th be with you, young Skywalker. And it's also the day that the Fed is going to come out. When I say the Fed, the Federal Reserve, and implement the first rate hikes to interest rates. And I don't know what you've been hearing or what the Tiz Talk gang out there knows about this, but originally when in December, when Mr. fucking Powell came out and made the market go like this, like a fucking roller coaster, which it's been doing basically ever since, or basically since January 4th, they were talking about 2.25 quarter basis points, right? That has been thrown so far out the window now because of everything with inflation, which could turn into stagflation, which a recession. You had the war with Ukraine. Now they're expecting, and the market's already priced in 0.5.
I said it. Remember, I called that months ago. I was like, they're going to do a couple 2.5s, and then they're going to go to 5, man. I knew it.
But they're not even doing 2.5s. They're going straight to 0.5.
Well, we already had a nominal increase,
They didn't knock it up yet. They talked about it. No, they didn't. There's been this is the first one. Oh. They talked about it. And of course, mortgage rates have gone fucking insane because it's all being baked in.
I swear they bumped it up 0.25.
Okay, let's fact check this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're wrong.
The Fed hike rates in 2022. You might be right. I could be tripping. It's been a crazy. Okay, so let's see how it is going to happen the rates.
Yeah, they did it.
Expected basis points. Yeah, you. Oh shit! I think you actually might be right here.
Yeah.
Forecast
done it twice. I thought twice.
No, they only did it in March. Rate hikes are expected to increase starting in March of 2022. This is an old article. Fed to raise rates aggressively.
Yeah, they did a 0.25, now they're going to go to a 0.5, which is faster than I thought. I thought it'd be towards the end of the year.
So they did do the 0.25. Okay, so that makes it. So they did the 0.25, which made interest rates fucking. Where are interest rates? And I think they're like above there. I know they're almost at 6%. I mean, mortgage rates. Sorry, mortgage.
5.25, 5.25 is what.
Okay, so I was overshooting a little bit. Do you see it going any? You see it keep going? I think it's going to keep going.
By the end of summer, it'll be 6 or more. Yeah.
Okay. Now here's what everybody's been a little concerned about. And the fucking market has been so wobbly. And we just basically came down to not all-time lows, but new lows for SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF. Yesterday, we hit 405. We almost cleared. I mean, I thought it was going to butter right through to 400. I mean, I was like, holy shit. And then it, of course, it had its little bounce, which is expected to happen. Today, basically, it topped 419. But I think by the end of the week, it goes sub 400. Personally, I do. Especially, it's all going to be dependent on what happens tomorrow. And what I'm getting at is a lot of the market is expecting a 0.5. But there has been talks. If they do a 0.75 because of how bad inflation has gotten, you can expect to see the market go way below 400 really quickly tomorrow. You know what I mean? Buy some puts.
I don't believe they'll do it. I think they'll do it.
Well, I mean, and this was super far-fetched for the longest time. Now, because of inflation has gotten so bad, and obviously the one factor here is they want to be careful. If they do 0.75, that could throw us into a recession.
Yes.
Maybe. maybe. But
Yeah.
inflation has gotten so bad. Now they're talking about stagflation, and they got to do something, man. They have to. So 0.5, I think, has been priced in. I think 0.5, we might see either flatness or we might see SPY. I don't know. Might go up. I don't know. If they do 0.75, I think we see tank.
Oh yeah, if we see 0.75, we'll shoot below 4, but I don't see it. I don't see that coming at all.
A lot of people are talking about it, though. I mean, meet Kevin and Josh. I mean, they've all been talking about it for the past couple of weeks. I bring this up because of that. Like, because Josh, the one thing I appreciate about Josh is, he's been doing that YouTube channel for a long time, and he went through the 2018 rate hikes, and he keeps saying, man, this looks so similar to 2018 / he's also like, it's starting to look a lot like 2000 and 2008. And I got to say, it is. There's a lot of things lining up.
It looks a lot more like 2000.
2000 was just as bad.
It's a very similar situation where you have one sector that's getting fucked, and it deserves to get fucked.
But look at Boeing. I mean, look,
overpriced valuations.
Look at Boeing, though.
Yeah, but
hit. I mean, I feel like Boeing gets attacked a lot. Josh actually said that too, guys. When I say Josh, sorry. It's a guy I watch on YouTube. Just look up the Trading Fraternity, look up Stock Market Live on YouTube. He's everyday live. But he brought it up saying something like, in times of war or in times of, issues with the market, Boeing for some reason does get attacked as far as its stock price.
Well, it also goes higher. So, it's one of those that just, it's either flying high or it's either taking off or it's on the runway. There ain't much.
It's either flying high or it's standing there staring.
Yeah, or somebody's getting kicked off the plane and it's grounded. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I use Boeing as a talking point, but there's there's other companies that have been getting hit too besides tech. I mean, shit, Lyft today got clapped negative 25% after their earnings call.
Well, no, Chamath was calling out like, okay, so over, like, if you encompass all companies, like, I think if you do like the Russell 5000, like,
no, 2000 Russell 2000.
Yeah, 2000, a huge proportion of companies, like we're talking 25% are down, 30%, 50% are down more than like 50%. Like there's big drops going on kind of quietly.
I mean, quietly, really?
Well, I mean, somewhat, because people are talking about, Amazon dropping 20, but it doesn't feel that harsh when you talk about that because it's so high. But there's a lot of normal everyday companies that are getting slaughtered down over 80%. Some, a lot of small companies, and you're not really hearing about those, that's more Main Street than, once you start getting to those lower cap, mid cap stocks, like those are the ones that quietly can be down 75%. And you're not talking like the sky's falling. Whereas if like Apple was down 75%, the world would be on fire. You know what I mean?
Well, the heaviest weighted equity out there. But Shopify down 77% since November.
Yeah. So, I mean,
but that's tech.
To be honest, man, it's quietly. Like, I mean, I know a lot of traders are talking about it and stuff, but if you turn on the tube or the media, it's not like, they're not trying to tell you what's really going on, and they're keeping it quiet. Whereas once it's already underway, like, and there's no doubt about it, then they're all like, sell. They're trying to, the fix is in where they're trying to keep it as steady as possible right now, but
and it's been, and it's also baked in, at this point, like, because it's been getting just the whole, we already months ago have officially entered the bear market. I mean, this is a bear market, guys. Like, Corona, that wasn't a bear market. That was like a flash crash.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is what I consider a recession. I don't consider a recession stock prices. I really don't. What I consider a recession is when layoffs start to happen. We're not there yet.
Yeah, because March's report came out, I think today or yesterday, that more people quit and left their jobs in the month of March.
Which may help the headline of layoffs, right? Companies don't need to lay people off when people aren't working. So, they can kind of hide that under the rug a little bit as far as jobs reports come out. It's still not a good thing.
Yeah.
But when you start seeing companies laying off thousands of people at a time, that to me is when it's like the shit's hitting the fan. Main Street and Wall Street are converging and they're both having a fucked up day. Because usually you can kind of separate the two, but once they merge and it's like consumer spending is dropping, layoffs are happening, fear is setting in, that's when I think you really start to see a recession, in my opinion. That's what I consider a true recession, is when jobs are being lost. You know what I mean? So
yeah, this is a new thing. I mean, this is a very unique situation. I mean, throw it all in the melting pot.
And a lot of it is, yes.
We're coming out of COVID, which they were calling a recession when it happened, but you got all the stimulus money. So you're coming out of that. And then you got the supply chain shit with China. I mean, all that inflation, which all this is causing inflation. The stock market's reacting to it. You got basically all-time highs in some areas of the country for real estate situations, and then you got all-time fucking lows in the office market.
So speaking of stocks and real estate, people are like, oh, the crash is here. No, what you people don't realize is the lower stocks go right now, the more residential at least is going to fucking even boom even higher right now, because people are pulling their money out of one place and putting it into the safer place. So I think residential real estate is going to keep booming for at least another year.
I agree. I mean, I think maybe by the end of the year you'll start to see some pulling back a little bit. I mean,
this is what I see, is residential real estate is going to actually continue to go up for the short term, and then what I see is I don't see prices really going down. I see interest rates going up and payments going up, which is going to really. But what I see is if the people that buy at the top, the top, they're not going to necessarily be underwater. But what's going to happen is there could be a decade ahead of us where people don't gain any equity on their homes. So they're going to sit there and they're not underwater, but they're also not gaining any equity on their homes for, who knows how long, 5, 6, 7 years, because the prices went up so fast. And then we're going to have a flat line. That's what I see personally. I don't see a 2008 where you get all these deals on fire sales. I don't see that. I see a flat line where just everybody's like, damn, I bought my house 6 years ago and I could sell it today for what I bought it for. That's what I see, which sucks. That sucks for somebody that buys at that time,
Yeah. And it's funny you say that. So a lot of the taxes have started the appraisal districts, tax have all just started coming out, and oh my dear Lord, I have got an earful of this just basically over the past 5 days. I mean, from residential people and commercial, it's like
everybody in Knox County just got assessed, and everyone's like, all these old people are hitting me up like, what can I do about this? I'm like, well, there's not much. I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll try and find the worst comps that I can find for you, the lowest selling houses, and you can at least bring that in. If you haven't had a sale on your house in 10, 20, 30 years, fight it, but understand that they're only going to do so much. But if you find the worst comps in your area, you may be able to get them to agree to drop you, 10%, 5%. But my neighbors.
Yeah, but you really got to fight that shit. I mean,
a lot of my neighbors, their shit went up. I'm not kidding you, 50%.
50%?
50.
Dude, that'll make people have no choice but to sell.
Well, what happened? Well, see, the thing is, I mean, it's still very low in Tennessee. Our real estate taxes are very, very low, but still for old people on a fixed income, a couple grand.
I mean, they're like retired.
A couple grand a year can make a big difference, So, like, put it this way: I'm like on a $600,000 house, not in the city where you're going to pay double the taxes, but just county taxes.
Yeah,
you're probably paying about I don't know, 25, between 2,500 and 3,000 a year on a 600,000 K house. So, if you were to compare that to Houston, that would be about 14,000 on a $600,000 house. So we're still very low to where you're still just talking about a few $1,000s, but still it adds up and it makes a difference,
I mean, and it's crazy. So I had this in my notes and we're going a little out of order, but who gives a shit? I mean, basically the, people are like, ooh, Texas doesn't have income tax, blah, blah, blah. So fucking what? The property taxes here total, and there's other taxes, but totally offset that. I think even worse. Like I'm telling you, I mean, it's so bad. Like people think, oh yeah, Texas is great. We have no income tax. Who gives a shit? If you own property, right now. I've got clients calling me like, I mean, it's insane. I went to go do something this morning for a commercial deal, and I was talking to one of the guys in there, and he's an older guy, man, and he's almost ready to retire, and his fucking his property taxes like came back for this year's assessed value up 15%. That's for here. That's huge, and he lives like fucking like out of the city.
Yeah. See, people don't. Yeah, and Texas is way overrated. Tennessee is the best. That's part of.
Yeah, I'm starting to understand that a little bit more now. Now that all these fucking taxes are coming in, like I'm like, holy shit! Like, I mean,
so
dude,
Tennessee, no state income tax, and on top of that,
y'all don't have income tax either.
No income tax and very low. We don't have no property tax, but we have very low property taxes.
Texas is so fucking high.
And so, and a lot of people are like, well, who gives a shit? It evens out. Well, okay. Usually you can a lot of state income taxes are around 10%. So if you make 100 grand, 10%, that's 10 grand. I mean, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world, right? But if you start making 250K, the more you make, the more it sucks. That's
$25,000.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, percentage wise, obviously it's the same, but you know what I'm saying? So, but all of a sudden, because your house generally, you hit a peak and then you don't necessarily live above that, right? Like just because you make $250,000, say some guy makes 100K a year and he lives in $1 million house. A lot of people who make 200K are still going to live in that same priced house. They don't just live in a $5 million house just because their debt to income could possibly carry it. You know what I mean? Right. So when you start paying property taxes on a $2 million house here versus there, oh my gosh, like you're just talking about getting fucking filleted, man. Like it just sucks. And I just crack up when people are like, oh, Texas is blah, blah. Texas sucks in a lot of ways. I mean,
it does. It does. I mean, you
don't get shit for it. That's the other thing. Like, it's not like you get great infrastructure. You don't really get shit for it.
This is all due to the fucking pandemic and the stimulus and just everything getting juiced. I mean, it really isn't. And all you have all the fucking, and I'm speaking on Texas here, but like, you got all the, look at Tesla, fucking Elon just built the Gigafactory, 11 million square foot fucking facility. Crazy. That is the biggest production facility in the world. 1, 2, yeah. It's measured in pentagons. When I say pentagons,
isn't it the biggest building in the world?
He said it's the biggest manufacturing facility in the world. It might be it's the biggest building if you turn it on its side, like a vertically.
It's the tallest building in the world.
Yeah, it fucking makes the Burj Khalifa look like a limp dick, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane, and they measure it in pentagons. And when I say pentagons, like the size of the Pentagon, one of the most massive buildings, it's 3 times the size of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like, if not, it's top 3 buildings in the world.
Talking about property taxes on that, but he's getting so many fucking taxes.
Oh, he's probably not paying a dime on it.
It's insane. Elon he's the man. I love Elon. I love.
Well, I mean, come on, don't hate the player, hate the game. I mean,
the fucking game. I mean, but I respect him. He's not Elon. Even he doesn't. He said when he travels sometimes. No, he doesn't have vacation homes. He sleeps on people's couches.
He doesn't own a home.
Right. That's what he said. That's what he was saying. And he's like, so I respect him for that. I mean, he's not out there just living the lavish life. Like he's trying to do something with this capital
Well,
that
I
he's
mean, he enjoys what he does.
of
So,
course. Well, yeah, he enjoys what he does and he's really good at it. And he's like the richest man in the world. Do you see this?
yeah.
Okay. Fucking Zoom. God damn it. Sorry. It says fucking we got 10 minutes. This is insane, dude. It's just the two
I
of us.
think, I mean, yeah, people got to get like their dicks out of Texas's ass. I mean, Texas is like, I love Texas. I'm from Texas. I love
I'm
Houston.
ready to get the fuck out of here, man.
But Texas sucks, man. Like,
I'm ready to get the fuck out of
I'm
here. I
glad to
fucking
be
hate
from
Governor
Texas.
Abbott, motherfucking
Yeah.
Professor Xavier, bitch ass.
Governor Abbott is like, well, he's just a fake cripple. First of all, he can stand up and he can walk.
He has to use like the crutches or whatever, or the.
he's a complete fraud. He's a douchebag.
He is. I mean,
Texas used to be a place where people like. I feel like freedom actually. People were like didn't give a fuck what other people did. Now they think of freedom as whatever they like, which is like generally just a bunch of idiots repeating the same shit. And then if they don't like what you do, they want to legislate it. And it's like, that's not freedom. That's just you being a fucking fag, So it's like, dude, just Texas sucks.
It's starting to suck a lot.
Yeah. And it's not people bluing. It's not the people that are bluing a red state. It's the people that just can't mind their own fucking business. That's what sucks about Texas.
And look what fucking Mr. fucking dumbass Professor Xavier started with the whole abortion thing, last year, and now Roe versus fucking Wade. I mean, that shit got leaked. Now, how the fuck does that happen, by the way? That shit got leaked. And it caused all sorts of hell.
Midterms are coming up. The Dems knew they were going to get fucking slaughtered. And it's not a coincidence.
That was leaked on purpose. That kind of shit doesn't just get leaked out.
Yeah, and I'm a pretty progressive dude, but let's be honest, like what happened here. Like
let's be honest. Like
yeah. So it's like, come on, like we know, I mean, this is to help the midterms and see if the Democrats can get a push. Because as far as I'm concerned right now, the Dems are going to get slaughtered. Now, this Roe v. Wade thing may change that. But as of 2 weeks ago, they were going to get their asses handed to them. And granted, a lot of people are blaming Biden shit for shit that's not even.
I got to correct you. Hold on a second. Democrats, Republicans, but it's Crips and Bloods, baby.
No. I'm just speaking freely. I don't have a horse in the race.
No, I know. We both don't. I'm saying, but in the Tiz Talk podcast, we don't acknowledge Dems and Republicans. It is Crips and Bloods because it's
the Crips. You're right. I'm sorry. The Crips were going to get slaughtered as of a week or two ago. Now that this leak has happened, you may see a big push and they may not lose as many states as they were about to. I still think they're going to lose the midterms and they're going to lose some seats. And I think the problem is that if you're truly an American who cares about America as an idea, then you can't be for this theocratic bullshit. I don't care if you're Christian. I don't care if you're a fucking evangelist. You have to understand why you have to separate your religious ideals from government. We're not a theocracy, nor should we be. We're the land of the fucking free and the home of the brave. And this shit is getting out of hand, man. And
it blows my mind, man. Like, who this is such a tactic. You're right. And
get your Bible out of the country. I don't care what you do. You pray. I don't care. I'm all for it, actually. Do what you do. But the minute you start voting extremists into like Amy Coney Barrett, I'm sorry, but that lady is insane. She's no different from Ilhar Omar, the Muslim from Minnesota. They're the same people. I
don't even think they believe in it. It's just they're getting funded.
No, she believes that shit.
You think? Okay, I mean, I don't know. These days, I don't know.
Yeah. So what I was saying was, I mean, these people can't make a decision. They can't take themselves out of their own, person. They can't think freely or openly or objectively. They have a very specific viewpoint, and they have no way of removing themselves from that and just thinking you know, objectively and altruistically. They have an agenda, and they're agenda driven people. And
You're right. I mean,
it's the Christian
but it's
Taliban.
always like that. I mean, it's
It's the
always.
Christian Taliban. And
Wait, it's the Christian Taliban? Is that what it
Christian
is?
Taliban. If these people ran the country with free reign, we would be very similar to Afghanistan, Iran. They're not any different, people. We just have multiple points of view in this country that spreads that shit out. But if you had all people like her, and it's Christian Taliban, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
you know, they'd
it
be cutting
is.
clits
It
off.
is.
They'd be branding women who had adultery. I mean, they're no different. They're no different.
Well, I'll tell
Um,
you this, and we've talked about this whole abortion shit, and in my past with it. Now I can say right now I don't really have much to worry about because I'm not doing that like I was. But like, dear Lord, if this had happened 6, 7 years ago, like like I would have been in some shit, man. Like I don't know. I'm talking about in Texas because
you'd have been on a road trip. You'd have been on a road trip.
oh yeah, I'd be going up down to Mexico, or wherever I gotta go do it. But and we're not gonna talk about the cow thing and all that shit.
Oh, no, we wouldn't dare. But
yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I
It
mean,
really is, and that's just
and what these people that are like for it don't understand is like the more you get this shit, the more you're gonna get the extreme left. Like you don't get less extreme. We're entering a phase that's gonna be a lot like the late '60s, early '70s. Like we were extreme at that
I
time.
mean,
Like,
I thought we were seeing that 2 years ago when the
no, that
riot
was the
shit
beginning.
was going on.
That was the beginning.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm saying, but
Yeah.
like that reminded me of that, and I was even born back then. But like with all the Black Lives Matter and all the riots, and it's like, holy shit! Like I talked to some boomers.
Yeah.
Some people call me a boomer, which I'm not even close, but I get called boomers because I talk to a lot of younger, like 20 something, young 20-year-olds or whatever, like on the Discord thing. So they all like, shut up, boomer. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put my foot up your ass. You call me a boomer again, you little bitch, you fucking Gen Z motherfucker. Okay. Like,
yeah.
Y'all don't know shit. Okay. Like, get the
no, they don't. They don't know shit.
No. And
the more we get like Roe v. Wade getting turned over and all these stupid laws that are all religion and fear based, the more you're going to get all these communist bullshit. And it's going to just converges. People don't see what's coming. I see it. I got the crystal ball. I'm good with social shit. I know what's coming.
It's like, Miss Cleo just
yes, the Queen of Goats tells me, you stupid bitch. So it's coming, man. And it's going to get so much more extreme in this country. You don't dial that shit back. You don't. It lasts decades. And yeah,
and
man.
It's like, is it a political play? Do they really want to do this? Like, I mean, what the fuck?
Well, here's the one thing. You never solve the problem that is your number one driver of voting. You don't do it. In the short term, it's good for you. But in the mid to long term, your base loses fervor because they got what they wanted.
Yeah.
And the Republicans are dropping the ball on that. The number one thing you do not do.
Bloods.
Yeah, the Bloods are fucking up because a lot of Bloods, I don't know what percentage, but I would venture to guess at least 60% of Bloods vote on abortion. That is one of their number one hot button issues that they vote on.
Why do they care?
Because they never actually read the Bible for themselves. They've only had a guy in black and white, preacher, tell them what's in it. And when you listen to a preacher, which Jesus in the Bible tells you not to do, you get their bias.
Wait, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Jesus hated organized religion. So to make an organized religion...
Oh, well, no wonder he was a Jew.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus was Jewish.
The Jewish wizard. I write my rhymes right to the left.
Yeah, man, exactly.
Invented interest rates. The ultimate theft.
So it's like, dude, no, these people have never read the Bible for themselves. They've been told what's in it. They hear what the preacher tells them. They pull shit out of the Old Testament to bring up hate and fear, but they rarely talk about the hippie that Jesus was. And so, Jesus was a Buddhist, and if you told, I mean, he wasn't really, but you know what I'm saying? He was basically,
like his philosophy on
the
life.
suffering of man, no judgment. Jesus never said, don't do that. What he would tell you is don't judge people for doing what they do, even if it is a sin or whatever. And so these people are clueless. They have no idea what's even in the book that
It's because they're listening to someone read them a book that was supposedly written by God.
They're ignorant,
but it was man or like this, but it's a man-made thing. And like I have my views on religion. I'm not religious. I don't believe in religion because it's man-made. I mean, I don't know. I'm spiritual and I believe that maybe some of these things happen, but I think some of these stories, maybe they just ate the wrong plant, tripped, saw the burning bush or, whatever. And they wrote that shit down.
Yeah.
I mean, who the fuck knows? But I'm just not religious because my mom was Catholic. And
think about it like this. Think about
God was Jewish.
Think about this, okay? How many people have serious mental health issues right now in this time frame, right? I'm talking like out of their minds, right? Schizophrenia.
Like literally,
they see things, right?
They hallucinate. They see shit.
Well, back in those days, there was no diagnosis. People thought that shit was real. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, imagine if some bum on the corner who sees demons and sees fucking crazy shit had an audience. That's what you're dealing with. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like maybe they stumbled across some field mushrooms, took them, and they thought they saw a burning bush. And, when they parted the Red Sea, maybe they were all just tripping on mushrooms or peyote. They ate cactus in the desert.
In my opinion, a lot of the stories of the Bible or any other religion for that matter are no different from the Native Americans where an owl and a fox and they're parables. They're stories.
I never thought about it like that. That's fucking so right.
They're parables to teach you wisdom. And there's a lot of great wisdom.
And that Native Americans were definitely fucking with like the peyotes and the things like that. So yeah, dude, that's what I've been saying for so long. And people are like, you don't believe. I'm like, no, don't take it the wrong way.
It's a parable.
It's a parable. Me personally, and we're not gonna get into the whole religion thing. I'm just saying, when you grow up and being forced on Judaism on one side, Catholicism on another, and then Catholicism again for Miss Cheeks.
Yeah.
Ugh, what? Yeah. Okay, that's why I was like, fuck this. Like, I just believe that there's something out there bigger than me, and I don't care about the stories. I mean, hey man, like if it floats your boat and it makes you a better person, it's peace of mind, great. And that's fantastic. And whatever it is, but for the tiz, that doesn't give me peace of mind because I hear the stories. I'm like, these motherfuckers are tripping while they're
98% of, if Jesus was a real person and did all the things that they say and had the thoughts that are in the Bible, he would be rolling over in his grave at 98% of churches today. They're money hungry. They're the people that go there are pious. They just want to be seen. It's just terrible. They don't make Jews they don't make
Jews like.
They don't make. Well, there's an old country song. They don't make Jews like Jesus anymore. But I'm not even.
I know it's song.
Though. But that's actually the opposite of what I meant to say. Jewish people are pretty much agnostic. Like they understand.
Well, in a sense. I mean, I know since I had to grow up. I mean,
most American Jews
they don't believe in hell.
Okay. Most American Jews aren't really practicing Jews. Like they understand.
Yeah, they're called Reformed Jews.
They're not they're not
like my dad. He's a Reformed Jew.
Yeah, like if you ask them,
that's called the business Jew.
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like it's a cultural platform. It's it's a glue that holds a culture together. It's
their circle that they stay within for business and for whatever the fuck it is.
And that's great, and it's family and it's a lot of things.
It's kind of like the mafia.
Yes, but they're not sitting there and thinking like, oh shit, Leviticus, oh no, you can't have fucking central plumbing. Like, okay, yeah, okay, you know what I mean? Like they're just not trying to take all the old shit that was all fucked up and like apply it to government. I
Nah,
mean,
you raise good points, dude. I mean, it's the truth. I mean, and I've been saying this for a long time. You're bringing up good points that kind of relate to what I've always thought, but the way you
yeah.
put it, it even makes me. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Shit, now I believe it even more.
You know who the number one donor to Israel is in the entire planet?
The number one donor? Are you talking about country or an individual?
Individuals.
Is it the Jewish, the birthright program?
No.
No.
Evangelical Christians who want to bring about the rapture. The number one donor. The Zionists are evangelical Christians who think that when the Jews have all of Israel, that the God will come down and punish the world and the rapture will happen. That is the number one fundraising for Israel is evangelical Christians. I mean, just think about how crazy that is. You're donating money to bring forth the destruction of the planet. I mean, and these people are so fucked up in the head, they actually think that it would be good for them. They'd be one of the chosen people who would go to heaven.
That's the rapture, right? That like you get pulled
Yes.
out. Like what was that movie that James Franco did? This Is the End, which is a fucking awesome movie, by the way. That movie made me laugh so many fucking times. It's so good. If you haven't seen it, just what did I say? This Is the End.
Yeah.
James Franco, Seth Rogen, what's his name? Fat Boy. Jonah Hill.
Yeah,
then you had Danny McBride, and yeah, just that whole damn crew.
But it's like, and here's one last point on this. I don't want to drone on this too long myself. If you got thoughts, I've been droning on, but it gets me fired up because what happens is when you allow that shit to just like all of a sudden get a real platform, which it's always had a platform. It really started in the early 80s with Ronald Reagan. The Republican Party used to be pretty decent. And then what happened was Ronald Reagan brought forth the Christian, to make the Republican Party the party of Christ, basically. He did that. And so he started blending church and state at that point. And so that's when Republicans started feeling like a morally superior, like, oh, you're a Democrat. Oh, you're like a devil worshiping Satanist, basically, if you're a Democrat, because they think they're the party of Jesus. And so he started this shit. And when you start that shit, you can't take that shit back. When you start that shit, it's dangerous, man. It's dangerous. And, you can't kill an idea. Once an idea is in there, just like the left with all this communist shit, it ain't going anywhere. That's going to keep growing. And it's fucked up, man. But my point was going to be, so once you start letting in this type of like disconnect from reality and superstition, that leads to conspiracy theories, and then that leads to QAnon. And that's what you have now is
I haven't heard that in a while. QAnon? I haven't heard
that. When people think QAnon, and I said this all during the Trump presidency, QAnon is mainstream. Now, not all their ideas are mainstream, but if you ask, I'd say, these are all guesses, I'm pulling them out of my ass, but I deal with a shit ton of right-wingers. A lot of them are good people, but they believe at least a small percentage of QAnon shit. They won't necessarily go shouting it or write a Q, but they have a little bit of it they agree with, and that grows. Q is actually way more mainstream than people want to understand. Now, most of these people don't go on 4chan, and they're not reading all this bullshit straight from the source, but it bleeds into their media. It bleeds into what they repeat.
Oh, wait. Will you explain real quick? Because some people probably do not know what 4chan is.
So 4chan is it's an online, basically forum where people share the most disgusting things on the internet, right? Like real out there shit. Like, and it can be anything from like posting pictures of like dead bodies, people to sharing conspiracies to.
Oh, so this is funny, not to cut you off real quick, but okay, Tiz gang, you met the homie Jared who's been on here. Okay, so I have to say this because this is perfect. 2 episodes ago, I believe, when we were talking about like Rivian and all this shit, like back in November when the Omicron crash happened, I had those Boeing quiz. You made a comment to him saying something like, well, you sound like a QAnon. And he goes, what's a QAnon? And me and you were like, where the fuck have you been for the past year and a half or something? He's like, I don't know. You know what I mean? And then the funny thing is that motherfucker's on his Discord channel showing fucking videos of dead people like in fucking getting their heads chopped off.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's QAnon and he doesn't even know it.
Yes. And see, and it all ties together. Like people want to talk
circle, dude. Full circle right there.
Yeah, it is. And it's like all this shit is so when you start thinking about like, and I'm not trying to compare where we're at right now to like Nazi Germany or anything, but that's how this shit starts. It starts small and it grows and it becomes something way more horrific and disgusting than it started as, like
we won't I don't think we'll ever see that type of shit again, at least on that level. I know it does happen around the world, like genocide and all that shit, but
no. Things happen, man.
No. I know they do. I just don't think on that level of
it could be worse. There's a lot more people on the planet right now than there was in 1940.
Okay, well, percentage standwise. Or from a percentage standpoint?
I think that the more the superpowers of the world become twisted and authoritarian and the people become stupider.
This is globalism that we're going into here, guys. I mean,
people were more educated in 1940 than they are today, in my opinion. We know more stupid facts, but we know a lot less about just the world in general.
Well, as a whole, but I mean, I do not put myself in that category. I am a very self-educated individual, and I do my own homework when it comes to things that are going on. I'm not one of those fucking clowns that sit there and watches Fox News and bases all my decisions of how I feel with what's going on.
The news right now is almost 100%. And I don't care if it's CNN, I don't care if it's Crip News Network or if it's the Blood News Network. It's almost 100% emotion, fear-based shit. Every headline you read is going to be fear-based, emotion-based.
Yeah, because that's the only, it catches people's attention. It brings the ratings up. I mean, it's all driven. This is a money-driven world.
I think
capitalism I'm all good and I'm all about that. Okay.
I think
social.
I think that the world could enter a darker period than even World War II. I really do.
And honestly, what you were seeing Russia do to the Ukrainians in those mass graves and shit, I mean, that's just that's not even the tip of the iceberg to I think.
And that's not even based on like real hate. That's not even based on like real hate. That's just based on like greed and corruption.
If you guys think Putin's done, y'all are tripping.
That's not even based on a country convincing their people that another group of people are the scum of the earth and are the biggest enemies. That's just basically like, hey, this was our land and we want it back kind of deal, So it gets way darker than what's going on in Ukraine and Russia,
yeah, man. Like this, look, this is just the beginning.
Yeah, and I don't want to be all doom and gloom. So
I know. I'm just saying, but just be prepared, and people don't just please don't just rely on what the fucking news tells you. Just take 10 minutes of your time. And if you want to know more about it, go do your own research and it's not that hard. Now, there's a lot of misinformation floating out there, but you should be able to decipher the bullshit. But maybe, I mean, they're getting good at making it really hard to decipher.
What you should ask yourself, and I've said this on other shows, anytime you're getting especially direct news media, if you're not just reading something that's statistics and when people throw statistics at you, though, look in between those numbers and see what they're really telling you. But you should be, whenever I turn on the Crip News Network or the Blood News Network,
I love
I
it.
am
I love it.
always
You're keeping with the game right there.
and
Yeah.
I only turn them on for mental practice of like, okay, what's the headline? What are they to read between the lines? What are they presenting to me? Why are they telling me this? How are they telling me this? What emotions are they appealing to? And what is the end goal? If you're not asking yourself those questions while you're watching a news story, then you're probably getting played. And I feel sorry for you because
If you're if you literally like sit there and watch Fox News, CNN, I don't care, and that is and you're not gonna if you're not even questioning it, you're just believing it, you're a fucking idiot.
yeah,
You're a fucking idiot.
yep,
These people get paid to tell you this information for a specific reason. It's because the people behind the curtains want you to hear these things, to drive fear in you. And you can't rely on that. You have so many sources of information today. It's like, fucking just look into it, people. Like, get with the fucking times. Now, the internet is very full of misleading information. But if you have 2 cents of fucking knowledge in your head, you should be able to decipher out the bullshit from the real shit,
yeah.
in
As
my
much
opinion.
as
But
yeah,
we don't have a lot of smart people anymore. We got a lot of ignorant and dumb motherfuckers in our country, and the poor motherfuckers who live in a country where their internet is Facebook because they don't have internet, they're fucked. That's all they got.
Here's a question I have for you. This is how much shit is being controlled right now. Who name one politician, right? Major national politician who actually brings like a real groundswell of like hope to the people. Like somebody that really people respect and feel like positive about, right? Like not like, oh, he helps me hate other people that I hate. Somebody that truly is like a like a real
Current
a free thinker who brings
current
hope and brings people together. Name one.
current the
Current.
current ones.
Yeah.
You might disagree with me on this, but I really do think Bernie Sanders is legit when it comes to that kind of stuff.
See, and I'd agree that he's the closest. The other one I would say would be like Andrew Yang, but they're not what I'm talking about.
That dude doesn't have a chance. He
But they're
doesn't.
not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a man who tells it just. See, Bernie only wants to call. He's still using divisiveness to call out. He's like a class warfare guy, rich versus poor. I'm talking about somebody who wants to bring everyone together. You know what I mean?
I would say fucking Ross Perot, but he ain't with us anymore.
Well, no, and that's what I mean. There is no current guy that you say that's a guy who is like rocking the establishment, like who's really
Hey, meet Kevin for president.
yeah, and see
Meet Kevin at Meet Kevin. Look him up on
and
YouTube.
I like Kevin. I think he's a common sense guy, but do I think that he's a guy that makes people forget about past wrongs and makes people come together?
No, he's not. He's not that kind of guy.
He's not Robert Kennedy. He's not, he's not these people. And I'm not saying they were perfect, but what I'm trying to get at is I think we're entering an age when those people start coming around again. Unfortunately, we're reaching a time where there's so much hate and there's so much just gunpowder that you're going to start seeing if there are people like that, those are the people that start getting killed. And when you start seeing that, we've passed that point again where we're getting to those crossroads in a country where
the Nazi Germany kind of shit.
well, just where shit is getting to where violence rules the day, and
so Russia,
where free thinking is gone, and where hate has taken over.
Russia,
when assassinations but there is nobody right now that even matches that description. I can't name one person that I truly feel like, man, this guy just fucking. He's really truly the man because he doesn't have to divide people or have to make you fear things. He's just a real ass dude. There's not one of them, man. There's not one.
What do you think about Beto?
I think he's full of shit. I think
I'm asking you.
I think Beto is a dumbass, and I think Beto plays the party line, and I think Beto's not intelligent. If he and I think he's just a character. He's just a paid actor because Beto, if you truly cared, okay, if you're a Democrat right now and you want to bring change and you want to bring people
a Crip.
If you want to, yes. If you're a Crip and you want to bring,
I'm going to keep correcting you every time.
No, and you're right. So here's the thing: if you're a Democrat and you want to bring people together right now, shut the fuck up about the Second Amendment. That's a small item. It's a small item. Why are you dividing people that might be centrist and are like really? There's a lot of Republicans that don't feel great about all this far right bullshit.
Yeah, of course.
But they don't feel comfortable on the left either because they talk about all this dumb shit, just talking points. Shut the fuck up with talking points. Be real. People respect that shit. But no,
be real.
Be
real. Shout out Cypress Hill. Be real.
Yes, be fucking real. And it's like, look, how many Democrats are talking about legalizing marijuana right now?
How many? What?
How many Crips are talking about legalizing marijuana on the national stage?
You caught me say that. I go, how many what?
Yeah. How many Crips are talking about legalizing marijuana on the national stage right now?
Honestly, dude, I don't pay attention to this shit anymore.
Like zero. Yeah. Even the progressive ones.
I think it's going to get federally legal before the rest of the states.
But where are they at?
I'm just saying, I think it will be federally legal before the remaining states that aren't become legal.
I agree. But my point is like they don't care. They don't give a fuck. If they really cared about Roe v. Wade and they really gave a shit about, whatever the fuck else is going on, they would be talking about the things that would get them elected, which is marijuana, which is end the war on drugs, which is fucking not worrying about the Second Amendment. Like
that's going to be the end the war on drugs thing is going to be so tough because the way they have built that up over the past 30, 40 years, that is like embedded. It's embedded.
I understand, but some of them will say, but here's the difference: is some of them will say defund the police. What does that even mean? What does that mean?
I think what they're trying to. Well, I don't think they know what they're saying. One. You can. It's okay to defund the police in a sense because some of these fucking police.
What's the number one funding? What's the number one?
You were the one who told me that some of these police precincts have missile launchers.
Yeah, but look, what's the number one funding source for police? It's the war on drugs. So you can't have one without the other. You can't have one without the other.
The war on drugs will never end.
No, but my point is,
shout out to the Big Misunderstanding episode. I had to say it.
And my point is, though, is that I'm not talking about the war on drugs from a standpoint of like, oh, it needs to end now. I'm not naive. It's never going to happen probably. But my point is that defund the police is a divisive statement. So they're not trying to get elected by saying defund the police. What they're trying to do is keep the population divided. There's one group of people who think police should have all the money in the world, and there's another group saying defund. That just brings them further apart, right? There's one.
Some were even saying abolish them.
Yeah, yes. It's like that's retarded. I mean, it's just.
Oh
retarded.
Yeah, okay. Like I said in another episode, who the fuck are you gonna call? The Ghostbusters?
Yeah, and again, and I don't even think police like prevent crime.
I mean, come on, motherfucker, get with the times, people. Get with the fucking times.
Police don't prevent crime, but what they do is a lot of shitty jobs that nobody else does. I'm flipping a house right now. Guess what? The neighbors are old as fuck, like old as fuck.
Pause. We have 10 minutes till the next.
Okay. So the neighbors are old as fuck, right? They're like senile. They're old as fuck. Do their kids check on them? No. Do the neighbors want to check on them? No. Do I blame them? No. But guess who comes by once or twice a week? The fucking cops to do a wellness check. Who the fuck else is going to do that shit? Huh? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they have to handle shit that's like, oh my God, we got to go.
Domestic violence. Who the fuck's going to handle that shit? Are you going to go handle it? No. The police do. Yeah. They do a lot of things that nobody else wants to do, and they have a shitty job.
And we did talk about this on the Big Misunderstanding. Big time.
Exactly. And by getting rid of the war on drugs, you can put funding where it actually needs to go. But again, fucking, I'm not talking about it for that perspective. I'm talking about it.
Put it into some of more of our shitty roads we have.
I'm talking about, yes, I'm talking about it from a divide and conquer. That's what the government's here to do: divide and conquer. So when they talk about talking points like the Second Amendment and defund or abolish the police or ending abortion, it's just to bring those. They want to make sure that the population is 50-50. They don't want,
they want us to be divided, exactly, because
they don't want the Democrats to be 70% and the Republicans to be 30.
The Crips.
They don't want the Crips to be 70% and the Bloods to be 30, because then they can't control us. They want it to be 50-50. They want you to be fighting your neighbor, arguing with your neighbor, to where we never get anything done. And
guess what? That is why USA got so fucked with the corona number of deaths and cases. We're the number one country with the most deaths because of that. Because of that. Was that purpose? Now that I think about it,
of course.
So they wanted to get rid of the population a little bit.
Well, it's not even that. What it is it's just the perfect example of when you can take an event and use it for political power.
I mean, it's like false flag operations,
yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
And I think that the Crips fucked up majorly. I think that they played their hand way too hard, and they keep trying to talk about, nobody gives a fuck anymore. And a lot of Bloods were right. Is like, dude, you don't shut down the country over this shit. Like, where did the freedom go? Like, I'm sorry. Yeah, it sucks. But if you're worried about it and you're sick and you're old, then you stay at home. And then we can give people that need the money. But
well, I got to give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, like, this is a new thing. Like, I don't think they knew what to do.
I think that they used.
Could they have handled it better? Yes, but since it was so like abrupt and like, I think they just had to do. They just freaked out and did what everybody else was doing, because we couldn't be that one country. We could be that one country, right?
But what else they did was they freaked out so hard that they killed free speech, to where if you had anything negative to say about what they were doing and what they thought, they tried to make you a pariah and act like you're a fucking asshole, when there was plenty of valid reasons to say, hey, wait a minute, let's think about
that. Reminds me of an Eminem. Like, what rhymes with pariah? I don't know. Lego and or whatever. And it's like, but he's making a joke about Mariah.
Yeah.
But I always, when I repeat those lines, that sounds like, what rhymes with Melinda? I don't know. Lego. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, you just into the wick of the Stephen M's crazy. But yeah, no, I agree too.
But you know what I mean? Like, you can handle something and have your opinion and viewpoint. Like let's go back to abortion, right? Like, I think you should have the ability to do whatever the fuck you want.
And the more freedoms that we have, and you said it best on another episode, when Texas did the concealed handgun license thing, like back in September of last year, you made a comment on that episode with me, you and Larry. You're saying, well, the more freedoms that we have, that's a good thing. I mean, like,
it is a good thing.
And have that, but that goes right with abortions. It's like, who? Like, I'm not a woman, but I had to deal with this shit. Okay. And like, we talked about this, and it's just like, these motherfuckers. It's like it's their body. Like, the technology is there. It's safe.
But here's the thing.
The statistics behind it, when abortion is not legal.
Oh yeah.
More women die from. It's just all bad, dude.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. And here's what a lot of people won't admit on the Crip side is, because here's the thing. The definition of liberal is open-minded, and too many liberals these days are just as closed-minded as anybody else. So when I understand the other viewpoint to abortion, like, I understand if you think a fetus is a person, I understand you. I understand you. Like, I get it, man. I don't agree with you, but I get your point of view,
But the technology is there. It's safe. And if it's there and it's safe, if you want to look at that is a living person. Their brain is not like functioning.
Yes, but
I
you can
guess it depends on
understand.
how late you do it.
Yeah, but you can understand at least that like somebody can truly not be like hateful and think, well, no, you're murdering a baby. Now, I think it's a silly viewpoint, but I understand it. Like I understand it. You know what I mean? Like I get it. Like, and I don't hate you for having that thought process, right? Like so many people right now is like, oh, you're pro-life, you're a fucking piece of shit. It's like, well, how are we going to come to a fucking any agreement or have a real conversation if we both just hate each other because of our differing opinions? You know what I mean? And so it's like,
Which is we're gone full circle here. Exactly why we got hit the hardest during the
yeah,
pandemic.
dude, I was getting my haircut. I got a real shitty haircut.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about this on the phone, and I was like, I cut my own hair,
Dude,
guys.
she started talking about
Look at
Joe
this.
Biden.
Hey, Tiz gang, check out that. I did it myself. Like, actually, I think I did a decent job. I don't have any like product in, so it looks a little weird, but like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to be more self sufficient, okay? And
there
I
you go.
decided I'm gonna just start cutting my own hair. So I buzzed it in fucking February. It's May. I did this the other day, and I was trying to, like get it shorter on the sides. I didn't do the best job, but you know what? You think I care? Like
Yeah.
I went to meetings today with clients, and I mean they didn't say shit to me. I mean I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
they maybe like, what is up with this motherfucker's hair, dude? Like what is that shit? But I mean I think I did a decent job, man. Like
You know who
like
you kind of remind me right now is Bruce Willis in The Jackal.
bro, I love Bruce.
The
Die
Jackal.
Hard. I mean, that's my guy, bro.
Wasn't that Bruce in The Jackal?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
One
Sorry.
of my favorite. One of my. I almost love all Bruce Willis movies up until he started doing all these really bad movies. Like
Yeah.
he's just taking these movies. He's like in it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like people are just like, hey, and they're so bad.
Yeah.
So
But
bad.
like I'm getting my hair cut, right?
Yeah.
And this lady starts talking about Joe Biden. Like nothing political we were talking about. Nothing.
Yeah, you were telling me about this. Yeah.
And like she started talking about housing prices. I'm in real estate. She knows that. So okay, I get that. And then we're talking about just how the price of everything's going up. She blames Joe Biden for all of it, right? Even though it's like, dude, like, I mean, are you stupid? Like, yes, he has some blame, but like, come on. But anyways, like, I don't give a fuck, lady. And then she's like, I think if you think Joe Biden's doing even a halfway decent job, I question your sanity. It's like, lady, I question your sanity for talking politics to me when I don't know you. And I'm sitting here getting a haircut. I've said very little to you. I don't even want to have a conversation. And you just are going off the rails about Joe Biden. Like, are you stupid? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, I mean, what the fuck? And that's where we're at. It's just like it's an identity now. It's like all identity politics and like, shit's dangerous, man. Shit is dangerous.
No. You're very spot on with that.
Go on social media and just ask this question, okay?
Are you telling me to do it? Or are you telling
anybody? Ask, okay? Ask. Hey, black people, I have a question for you. Can black people be racist? Just or look for a post that talks about can black people be racist, and you will find the most ignorant, stupid comment section that you've ever seen. And there's a huge portion of minorities, especially African Americans, who think that it is impossible for a black person to be considered racist. I mean, that's just double think. And I'm not trying to pick on black people. Like, I'm not at all. Like, because I'm not picking on any group, but I'm just saying I've seen this post a lot and I've seen the arguments in the comment section. It's like, what is the definition of racism? But like, so there's a huge group of people, right, in a minority. Like, I'm not picking on anybody, but I've seen this repeated by a ton of black people online is, oh, black people can't be racist. We're a minority. How can you be racist against the oppressor? And I'm like, I don't comment. I just read it. I read social media, especially comments, because it gives you a good insight into what people are thinking. And the parroting, there's so much just repetition. It's like, where are these ideas getting bred and how are they spreading so fast? And like, there's literally a big group of people out there that thinks, no, you're a white man, so I'm a black man. I can't be racist towards you, even if I think you should die because you're white. I mean, literally, that's what they're saying.
I believe it.
And so you start thinking like that, and that's what I was trying to say. Like, shit's getting more and more radical, man. It's getting more and more radical.
And that goes back to what we were saying. Like, this is a unique time, man, across the board. I mean, and we've harped on multiple things, and they haven't been all on the list. But do you have anything else to say about it? Because I want to jump to a couple other things.
No, yeah, pretty much just, man, just really just enjoy the show.
Enjoy, enjoy the show, baby. Get back, kick back, have a drink. You are watching the Tiz Talk motherfucking podcast. It is May 2022, baby, and we are rocking and rolling in one of the most volatile years that I think we've ever fucking seen in our life. And even the boomers are saying that.
Yeah.
I do want to speak on the Houston. Well, I want to speak about the real estate market, and we did a little bit, but I want to speak on the commercial side of things briefly, just very briefly. There's some very interesting information, and I want to share a video. Okay, so this young chick, the video we're about to watch, it's funny, but just check this out. So I'm gonna go to my database, and tell me if you can see. Hang on, share sound. Yeah, okay. And I'll do my video. But okay, so share. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, so I watched this the other day. We're gonna watch this, guys, real quick. This because I live in Houston. I am a commercial real estate broker / advisor. Been dealing with it. Been doing it for about 8 years. So I want y'all hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Hi, I'm Itziar Aguirre, CoStar's Director of Market Analytics for Houston. Let's take a look at what's on CoStar's radar in Houston's office market. Let's look at quarterly leasing volume, a leading indicator for office demand. Houston's office leasing volumes have continued to rebound during 2022, but remain below the metro's pre-pandemic quarterly average. Leasing volume has averaged 3.2 million square feet over the past 4 quarters, below the market's quarterly average of about 4.1 million square feet, recorded in 2018 through 2019. Below average leasing volume often signals that firms are either taking less space than they would have prior to the pandemic or adopting a wait-and-see approach to the hybrid work model before committing to long-term office leases. In the absence of strong leasing demand from the oil and gas industry, the services sector, which includes medical, stepped in to account for more than half of all new leasing activity last year. This trend has carried into this year. During the first quarter of 2022, Kelsey-Seybold signed a sublease for more than 26,000 square feet at Memorial Hermann Tower. The recent rebound in leasing activity is a positive indicator for Houston's office market. However, the sector is still facing headwinds. At around 19%, Houston has the highest vacancy rate in the country.
Can't hear you.
Furthermore,
I got to stop that for a second because actually it's closer to 30%.
30?
30.
Wow.
Houston has the worst office market in the fucking country.
Wow.
Yeah.
The amount of sublet space on the market remains a drag on the office sector's recovery. There are currently 8 million square feet, or 2.3% of the metro's total inventory available for sublease. This is up from about 5.1 million square feet at the start of 2020.
Hold on. Can you see my mouse?
However,
Yeah.
it remains.
Okay. This was the oil bust in 2016, 2015. These are sublease comps for space.
Creeping up there.
Yeah, but you know what? I was shocked that it wasn't at that level or higher. I really was.
I am shocked at that. Yeah, I agree.
But this is sublease space. This is not vacancies.
Yeah.
In the sublease space, the problem with that is it takes a drag down on people going to direct vacant spaces because there's so much sublease on the market that it's cheaper if anybody's going back. So look, we're close to 30%. I mean, whew, worst office market in the fucking country. And on the flip side of that, hottest industrial market in the fucking country.
Yeah.
Insane. Here, let's just finish this
It's
up.
below the figure of 11.2 million square feet, recorded during the oil bust during 2016. The CBD alone accounts for more than 1/3
CBD means Central Business District. That's downtown, and that's like Galleria.
Okay.
of all Houston's available sublease space. In addition to the glut of sublet availability, speculative supply remains a major factor in Houston. There is about 3.8 million square feet under construction, 50% of which is speculative. On a bright note, this amount of construction is well below the more than 20 million square feet underway seen just a few years ago, during 2014 and 2015.
That's not a few years
CoStar
ago,
is
woman. That's like
anticipating a
fucking
rebound
7
in
or 8 years
2022,
ago.
with 2.3 million square feet of positive net absorption, the highest level since 2015.
Look at 2020's negative.
This relative bullish assessment draws on the rebounding economy at both the national and regional levels.
I call bullshit
Uncertainty
on
is
that
still
on
the
that
prevailing
forecasted
theme of the office
at
sector.
the far right.
However,
I call
Yeah.
bullshit.
after several consecutive quarters of relatively strong leasing activity and positive net absorption, there's cautious optimism that Houston's office market is stabilizing and in the early stages of recovery. I'm
No.
Itziar Aguirre. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Zira
If
Reyes,
you have
whatever your
any
name
questions
is,
or-
shut the fuck up. Okay, let me tell you something. That was a forecasted what they think. And they've been doing this and they've been wrong ever since. I don't see this correcting itself. I don't see the office market ever going back. I mean, in some places maybe, but in Houston, absolutely fucking not. They
Yeah.
are gonna have to get real creative here soon. Like,
Well, and you know what the other thought is,
well,
and at what
but it goes back to the whole fucking CMBS debt stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's like this is gonna be big, people. If these fucking landlords or these developers can't pay those fucking those CMBS commercial mortgage-backed securities, it's gonna be a domino effect of fucking defaults.
Yeah. And here's the other thing is at what price, right? Like what price are these even getting released at? And for
They're
how
barely
long?
not getting released. That's the problem. And if they are
Yeah.
going to get released, they're going to take the sublease spaces more likely because they're cheaper.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like they can say, oh, well, this much got leased, but at what price? And then in yesterday's dollars, you know what I mean? So it's like, sorry, like that's actually a 20% cut in pay, actually. You know what I mean? Like it's
I
kind
mean,
of wild.
it just blew my mind. It really did. It blew my mind and I already knew these numbers, you know what I mean, for the most part. But the crazy thing is, since we have the worst office market, we have the hottest industrial market.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let her do it one more time about the industrial. And honestly, when I watched this before, I was like, I don't know if I agree with what this bitch is talking about. So check this out.
She
Yeah.
seems like a nice lady, Chuck.
Now,
Little conditioner.
the industrial.
Hi, I'm Itziar Aguirre, CoStar's Director of Market Analytics for Houston.
See the guy.
Let's take a look at what's on CoStar's radar in Houston's industrial market as we approach mid-year 2022. Houston was one of the hardest hit industrial markets in the U.S. immediately following the onset of the pandemic,
It
when
was.
oil prices collapsed, just as the market was welcoming a record amount of new supply. All of this pushed the portion of Houston's industrial inventory listed as available for lease well above the U.S. average. While long-term risks around supply growth and energy volatility certainly aren't going away, Houston's industrial market is bouncing back, and there are certainly some bright spots. Leasing activity reached a record high in 2021, and this strong momentum has carried into 2022, helping drive available space back down. Tenants have flocked to newer properties in particular, and have been quickly filling the wave of properties that delivered unleased over the past 2 years. The gray lines on this chart represent leasing among properties built since 2010 for the top 10 markets for industrial supply growth over the past decade. And as you can see, among all these markets, Houston has seen by far the fastest acceleration in leasing over the past year. One tailwind driving all of this is record amounts of imports coming into the Port of Houston. Over the past 12 months, the port processed 18 million tons of imports, which is more than 40% compared to 2019 levels. Some of the categories that have seen the largest jump in import volumes have been building materials like cement, steel, and wood, which makes sense given that the Port of Houston serves the Texas Triangle's nation-leading population and housing supply growth. However, household consumer products like toys and appliances have also seen large gains. This map depicts industrial leases over 100,000 square feet signed over the past year. And while large deals have been getting signed throughout Houston, the area around the port's largest container terminals has been a prime recipient of new leasing. The east-southeast Pharr submarket, which includes the port, has seen its vacancy rate drop nearly 400 basis points since the end of 2020, and in our base case is anticipated to decrease by another 100 basis points before the end of the year. That's partly because, while tenants are clearly expanding around the port, landlords in the area will see significantly less competition from new completions of speculative development projects nearby. When we switch up the map and look at large available spaces in projects under construction, you can see that speculative development is concentrated on the opposite side of the metro area,
because there's more
where
land to
there's more
develop
open
on.
land for construction, and Houston's strongest population growth is occurring. That's a quick rundown of the market's performance heading into mid-2022.
Okay, bye.
I'm Itziar Aguirre. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free
All
to
right.
reach out to me.
Shut up, woman. Sorry. But no, it's crazy. Okay, so this is what I don't like being in the down markets. And man, I'm starting to realize that when the markets are really hot in the commercial, especially industrial, it's almost fucking worse.
It is, man. Equilibrium is the best, and
But it's because of there's multiple factors, right? But one of the main ones is because industrial was actually more of a tenant's market for a while, and now it is a landlord's market 100%. And with that being said, I mean, it's so frustrating to say this, but like the with these rate hikes coming in and mortgage things going up, like we are seeing an influx of buyers and just companies wanting, leasing. You don't have to kind of deal with that, but like we're seeing all of it, and the demand is there, and the fucking inventory isn't.
Yeah.
And
same with residential.
Yeah, exactly. It's very similar. Industrial Houston is very similar to what you're seeing in residential.
It's tough, man. People think agents are killing it, and it's like, no, it's hard right now. Like,
Well, because
I'm doing
it's either too expensive,
Yeah.
which it is. We're at all-time highs on rates, and it's also not just too expensive, but like there's not a lot out there.
No, there's nothing.
It's all getting taken up because people are just swarming in to get in before these rates get worse and worse and worse.
I'm not
And
gonna lie. Like, if people bring me buyers in certain price ranges, I don't really even want them. And to be honest, I kind of just slap them off to other people because it's just not worth my time.
yeah, because it's
get
like,
paid.
oh my God, like this is too expensive. We got to go look at another one.
I want to get paid a certain amount per hour, and
Okay, so you calculate it like that too?
Yeah, dude, I'm not fucking around for
Well,
30
no,
hours.
I mean, I calculate it like that too.
Yeah.
I'm like, how many hours of work am I have to put in to get this deal done?
It ain't worth it for me. Like,
Right. And that's why I pay. Well, I'm just going to go fucking ahead and say it. I had a group, I'm not going to say any names, but I had a fucking group that I have been working with for over 2 years. Okay.
Hmm.
Small valve company that, I reached out to them when they first got going back in like late 2020. And I said, hey, and I knew these guys, they're young guys like our age. And I was like, let me, I know you guys just got this time, but they wanted to grow. And over time, I did everything everything they asked for 2 years. It was like they were giving me the runaround. I had to do all these little things for them. Oh, wait a minute. Now it's crunch time because y'all waited on your lease is expiring at the end of June. And I
Yeah.
kept saying, for the longest time, we need to move on this. And
Yeah.
then I get a text message. Okay. I get a text message from one of those dudes. And it was a pretty rude text message. It's like, we need you to step up and do this because blah, 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 blah. And then yada, yada, yada. I looked at it and I was at dinner. I go, yo, man, chick, take it easy. Like, I've been working with you guys for a while. I was at dinner. I was like, it's 11 o'clock at night, man. Like, can I call you tomorrow? And then I started reading what he said. And I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to call him back. It ain't worth my time. And I already put enough in. They've been giving me the runaround, and he sends me this text message making it seem like, oh, I'm missing out on something big. I'm like, I didn't say anything. I just stopped answering. And normally I would have been like, you know what, fuck you. Blah. I just said, you know what, I'm just not going to answer. And I
Yeah.
didn't. And I basically lost that deal because I don't know if they're going to continue to give me the runaround, but at the end of the day, when they start coming at me like that's because the last thing the message said was, so we just wanted to be transparent with you. We went and, started talking to some guys from CBRE, and I'm just like, I looked at that and I was just like, not going to answer it.
Yeah.
Not going to answer it. To
Yep.
me, y'all are small fish, and I tried to help and I did everything. And now when it comes to crunch time and I got a lot of things going on and I can't fucking answer, like when you expect me to answer, or you text me at 11:30 at night and I'm asleep or with a client, and then he sends me this, I just didn't respond. And
Well, you know what's going on. They dropped the ball. They didn't do it in time, and now his ass is on the line, so he's putting it on you, and it's like, go fuck yourself. Yeah, I
but
mean,
I didn't, but normally there had been times I would have told him to go fuck himself, but guess what? Tiz didn't do that. He just
yeah,
didn't.
no.
He just
Silence is golden. I love silence. When people
Well,
are
I
just like,
learned that because I'm sure he's like, what the fuck? He's just gonna walk away from this. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, because you're small fish, dog. Like, I mean, yeah, you could be, but the way you came at me, it's like, okay, go with CBRE.
yeah, exactly.
I
What
don't
do I give a
care.
shit?
I got a lot of other shit going on for your little 10,000 square foot building. Okay.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, I say that's little, but
And
I
I
mean,
don't,
it
and
just
it's not
pissed me off
just,
because I put in so much work for it, and they
yeah,
were giving me the runaround. And this motherfucker has the nerve to say that kind of thing to me. I was just like, you know what? Not even gonna respond.
yeah, exactly. And that's how I feel about like, buyers in certain price brackets right now. It's just like, look, I'd love to help you, but are you all cash? Are you this? Are you that? No, it's like, well, I'll help you, but am I gonna go meet you 5 different days? Like, no, I'll meet you once and we'll knock some shit out. And if you're not ready, then I'm sorry, but it's just I'm not, I want to make at least a I mean,
I didn't even need to get into the details. It's
yeah,
just like, oh, I did all this work for you for 2 years, a runaround, and I was loyal to you. And then like, oh, when
yeah,
it's crunch time, and all of a sudden you're expecting me to drop everything out. I got other shit going on, playa. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And
No,
it's
I
like I
hear
didn't
you.
say that, but in my mind, I'm like, you know what? Go let him work with CBRE. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Well, like you said, I mean, and if people are like, really, you know, I don't want to say because when we talk like this, it kind of sounds like kind of
I'm not
um
talking shit. I'm being
conceited,
real.
and I'm not either. Like I wrote 10 contracts for a woman last year, and I was happy to do it. She was a very nice lady. She needed a little.
Well, that's fine. But she wasn't. Was she giving you the runaround?
No, she was great, and she understood because she needed a little bit of closing costs, and she was willing to pay over list by quite a bit to cover that for the seller. And all these douchebags were just like, oh, basically trying to max out appraisal, and so they were worried about her like 7 grand closing costs. I'm like, she's paying you 30 more than you're asking. Like, fuck off. And a lot of these houses were in bad shape. The 10th one, we got the best house out of all of them for her. and she's thrilled, but she was cool. And she's just like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, don't apologize. Like, this market's stupid. It's not your fault. Like, you're doing all the right things you can do. It's just one thing that's killing us, but we'll get it. There's going to be somebody out there who's reasonable and understands that, like, who cares if I pay a little closing cost? She's paying me way more, than I deserve to cover it. But anyways, it worked out. She's great. I know I'll do business with her in the future, and I'm happy to do it. But then there's those other people like you're talking about that are just like, hey, can we go see this place in 20 minutes? It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll set it up, but I ain't gonna drive out there. Like, I've done this like fucking 20 times for you guys over the past 2 years, and they don't turn in anything.
It's like, no, you call me the day before and let me know we're gonna go look. Like, I'm not just dropping.
They're just riding on their high horses, like,
like,
you're gonna miss out on this. And I'm like, you know what, dude? I eat those those little types of deals for breakfast, motherfucker. Okay,
yeah, like, oh yeah, so I can make 7. Like,
not to sound like a cocky fuck, but man, when you give me the runaround for that long and I do everything, and then you're gonna come me like that, nah, I don't.
I know how I service. I know what kind of service I provide. And if I'm working for you, I'll take it to a stupid level because I want to provide what I provide. And so when I feel like you're problematic, I'm like, if I get into it, if I get in a deal with you, I'm going to, if it takes, usually it doesn't. Most deals are easy if you're a professional because they're just, especially in residential, there's just not that much to it, right? But if people are problematic, all of a sudden the workload can go from this to this, which if you're cool, that's fine. But man, it sucks when you're working for some douchebag and working your ass off because that's
I wasn't even hired by him. I mean, I was not yet. I mean, but I was doing all the legwork, and all of a sudden, after 2 years, it's like, okay, when I don't like respond like within a certain amount of time, you're just like, fuck it. He's not interested. He's gonna go. We got to go get another broker. And I was like, you know what? I didn't even respond. Good luck to you guys. Not gonna say any names, but hey, man. Yeah. Best of luck to you. Best of luck to you.
That's how I am. I'm a pro. I consider to get, I need to get compensated like a pro. And then number 3, I have a very strong work ethic when it comes to if I'm hired on, like I won't stop. Like if it gets to a certain point where I'm going to war or having to do a bunch of shit that's really not even in my job description, I'm going to do it. But if I see it coming before I get involved and the pay ain't there, I'm not getting involved. That's just all there is to it.
I mean, I get it. This deal that there was some money on the table, but it's still chump change compared to the other ones that I deal with. But I was still putting in the 2 years at a time because I knew it was for longevity. That's what I believe in with these clients. It's like you do a small one and you keep them happy. And then they had the nerve to do that. I was like, you know what? It's not gonna say anything, and if they want to call me, they can. But you know what? Like that was like one of the smallest ones out there, and but I get it. One of the smallest clients I ever took from a small building to their next building is my biggest client. I put him in over 400,000 square feet across the country since my career began.
Yeah, exactly. That's why. Yeah, I mean, never burn bridges, all these things, but there are times as a
that's why I didn't respond. Because I felt like if I did, me, I could fire off sometimes.
Yeah.
But I've gotten
and somebody from that company may break off and go elsewhere and you work with them there. You just never know what can come from one thing.
And who knows how long Tiz will still be in this business. I mean, I'll get my broker's license and I might stick with my firm. I might not. I might open my own firm. I might not. But at the end of the day, I'll have my broker's license.
Yeah.
And maybe I need a break from this business, man. It's stress. It's a stressful business to me. I'm good at it. I've done a lot of good deals, but like it really does put stress in my life. And we can segue into this.
What's funny about real estate? Well, I know where you're going, but one more thing is what's funny about real estate is at least residential, and I'm sure it's kind of the same for commercial. Is like 80%,
it just depends on this, on like what's going on in the economy.
Yes, 80% of the time, it's like I don't want to say overcompensated, but I feel compensated very well. That 20% of the time, though, causes so much bullshit that you're just like, what the fuck? Like,
the smaller deals are the ones that cause
the worst
most
ones.
bullshit.
Always.
The big deals
because small minds.
are like easy as shit. Like my little fucking client Pablo Escobar trying to fucking buy a building in a duffel bag full of cash.
Yeah. Yes. And
Like,
see,
what the fuck?
the client, I still to this day, the client that has gotten the best deal out of anybody I've worked with. I mean, I got him a sweetheart deal, off market, got them all kinds of shit in this market, which is hard to fucking do. Got them. They were able to do their inspections. They were able to get repairs. They were able to do all this shit, sitting on a lot of money in equity, right? And from the minute they purchased it, tons of equity. That lady, she made my life a fucking. It was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot stand you. You are a terrible person, and I'll never work with them again. I don't care if they called me and said, "Hey, we got to sell." I'd tell them, "Nah, you go find another agent. I'm not working with you.
You
guys
gotta
don't have.
pick and choose your battles,
You
man.
lack respect.
Yep.
You don't
Oh,
deserve."
you told her that you told this person this?
No, I will.
Oh.
I said I already finished the deal, and I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not just gonna go out of my way. But if they call me to sell, I'm gonna say you lack respect. You do not deserve my level of professionalism, and I will not work with you. I will say that 100% verbatim.
And that's exactly what I would probably say if they came crawling back to me, or I'd be like, okay, not only am I going to get paid commission from the seller side, if you want me to work with you, if this CBR fuck that you decided to hire and you came crawling back, I want 2% from you too.
Dude, I got these. Yeah, exactly.
And they're probably going to be like, oh, no. I'm like, okay, well then go find someone else.
I got these people 6 figures of equity in this market. And as a buyer, which is unheard of right now. And she was bitching about these inspection repairs that I got most of them covered, almost all of them. But then there was like $500 for some shit that wasn't, it was extra stuff that I told him, like, hey, this is not covered. Like, but I'll get this guy to take care of it for you, but you're just going to have to pay. She just went off about $500. I'm like, lady, I've got you sitting in like 115K in equity on a house purchase right now. You didn't even have to fight anybody. I got you in the door before everybody else. Done deal. And I actually did the same thing. She was like, bah, 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 and I just didn't even respond, and I never will. And I hope to.
Hey man, I mean that's exactly how I would have.
And I hope they do call me one day, because I'll tell them.
No, I hope they do call me back too, and I'll be like, you know what, nah. And I'm like, and if you want me to, the seller is going to pay me 3-4%. But the only way I'm going to be okay with this is you're shelling over 2% of the value too. Otherwise, y'all beat me around the bush for so fucking long. And then you had the nerve to start texting me those like almost like threatening texts, like we're going to go with CBRE. It's like, you know what? Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
On your little 10,000 square foot building that you want to buy, man. I eat that shit for breakfast, son.
Yeah. And 99% of folks, like, I just, yeah. And I'm happy to eat shoe pie. Like, I don't care. I really don't. I don't really carry ego, so it's never about an ego trip. But sometimes it's
shout out Lil Wayne. It's like, he goes, I hope it be that way, because when I see you in the street, I'm going to bite your fucking face off.
It's just like, there is a certain threshold, though, of like just respect and just communication that it's like, come on. Like, who are you playing with here? Like, I wish I had just sold the place to somebody else, because I had plenty of people I could have sold this to, Okay, yeah, so.
It's okay. We can always just, get
But, yeah, but anyways, enough bitching about clients. There's a lot of great ones out there.
Oh, yeah, I'm not, like, it is what it is. It is what it is.
But yeah,
I wanted to, I know we have a little issue coming up here. Let's see. So this is a little off topic. We're going to end it with some mental health talk. We're going to end this one with mental health talk. But there is something, and I don't know if you heard about this. So they're saying, and we're going back to stock market for a second. FANG, FAANG, which stands for Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. Now they're trying to call it MANTA, MANTA. Do you know what that stands for?
Microsoft, Apple, Netflix?
You got one right so far. Yep.
Microsoft, Apple.
Nope.
Okay. What the fuck, man? Okay, hold on. I got to figure this out. Wait.
Manta.
So is this a new thing, or they're trying to get rid of Fang?
They're just it's almost like a joke, but they're saying Fang's out, Manta's in, but it's not like real, you know what I mean? But
Okay, what is Manta then?
Okay. Microsoft was one. You were correct about that. Manta. Now, can you try to guess a couple more? And think
Alphabet?
of okay, yes, that's the last A.
Okay. Not Apple.
Nope.
The fuck else would be A? That's huge. We're talking biggest companies, right? Like,
now, I don't know how realistic this is gonna fucking be.
A, I mean, what the fuck else is A? Because AT&T is T. So, I mean, what the fuck is A?
Okay, it's AMD.
Oh, okay. Is NVIDIA?
Yep. And think
T's Tesla?
Yep.
What a
So
fucking noob.
Microsoft. So
Alphabet.
what I found quite curious is they all had large run-ups this year and look more in line the past few months for movement. Microsoft 53.38% year to date. AMD 47.71% year to date. NVIDIA 126.7. Oh, this was posted in in November, but they were just talking about it today on CNBC. But it's like that stupid Kramer club he has on there, and you can't.
Oh God, dude, yeah.
But what I'm saying is that's what it is, and I can look and see what they are all year today. But that's it. Yeah. Someone, this is funny. Someone goes, let's add Bitcoin to it so it can be Batman. I thought that was kind of funny.
Speaking of, did you see that new Batman? I wasn't gonna watch it, but okay.
Did you?
I just watched it 2 nights ago.
I'll give you my opinion first. I liked it. You know why I liked it? Because it was dark. It seemed more realistic. Kind of felt like it took place in the 80s, sort of, kind of, in a sense.
Yeah.
And it was more realistic. It was dark. And he was the more detective Batman, like from the original stuff.
It was like a noir film, kind of like, yeah, it was.
Is it better than The Dark Knight? I don't know. But it was really good. And it was a very darker version of the movie.
I'll draw the line at really good. I don't agree there. But it was better than I thought it was going to be.
It's really long, of course, like all the.
I'd give it like a 6.4, which was good. I thought I was going to rate it like a 3.8 or something. It was better than most superhero movies. For a superhero movie, I'd give it like a 7.
Oh, someone else goes. Let's call it Mana. Microsoft, Alphabet, Netflix, Amazon, Meta, Adobe, and NVIDIA and Apple. Mana. Dude, this is a Reddit thread. This is so funny. These people are like, I go with Fatang, which would be, this is a Reddit post, and
So, but did you, I loved how they had to throw in the white privilege on that one time with Catwoman and Batman talking.
Wait, which part?
It's like this guy's sitting up there with their white privilege. And I'm like, the main bad guy we're talking about is fucking Italian. Like, what are you talking about?
Wait, who's Italian?
Her dad.
Oh, you're talking about fucking Maroni.
Yeah, I was like.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Was it Maroni?
Or no, it was like.
Oh, it's Falcone.
Falcone, yeah. It's like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, yeah, it was just funny to me. I was just like, why'd you have to throw?
Dude, honestly, Lenny Kravitz's daughter, what's her first name?
Zoe.
Yeah, dude, she looks just like Halle Berry back in the day.
Yeah, I thought that was like, man, another short haired. She looks good.
I was like, this is like the new now Halle Berry, like she looked just like her. I mean, I thought she was sexy as fuck.
Yeah, no, she was. I thought, here's what I thought. I agree with you. I liked kind of how it was dark, and I liked certain aspects of it.
I liked the detective part of it. Like
It was too
that's how
long.
Batman was the detective back in like the cartoons and
Yeah. It was too long.
Well, so were all the Batman movies. They're all long.
Number two, they made up for like a lot of like shitty choreographed fighting with just it being really, really dark. Like it was just so black on the screen that you couldn't even really see what was going on. But
You know
I was
what?
like,
You know what looked cool is when he went into that elevator and like all the lights went out and like you could see the guy's guns firing and you just see boom.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
boom. I thought that was pretty fucking tight.
yeah, there was some cool stuff. I was pleasantly surprised by it.
Okay,
I thought,
okay. Then let me ask you: Dark Knight or the Batman?
I thought the Batman. Okay,
And I
The
love how
Dark
they had
Knight-
the Joker at the end, and
let me give you my opinion on the Dark Knight first.
because
the
I
Joker-
love the Dark Knight.
The
I
Joker
love
was great. The rest of the movie I hated.
the what?
The Joker was good in
Yeah.
the Dark Knight. The rest of the movie to me sucked.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, the Heath Ledger made that movie.
I thought every other character in that movie besides Christian Bale was okay. I thought the movie sucked otherwise. And then how they caught the Joker at the end, I was like, this is the
Yeah, that was really weak.
you're gonna give like this clever, cool bad guy, and then you're gonna catch him with like just the stupidest way possible.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it
they
just-
all have their flaws. I mean, you know.
But this movie I thought overall was better than The Dark Knight as far as just like a start to finish kind of a movie. But the Joker was better than this movie put together, I would say.
Okay, I can agree with that statement.
Yeah.
Easily. I just like the Batman because it was like, you know, he's not fucking got all these crazy gadgets. He's got some gadgets, but when he jumped off that building with the wingsuit and then he
Yeah.
fucking ate shit when he hit the,
Yeah, that was
the
tight.
balloon,
That was-
he just got his ass fucking drilled down.
yeah, exactly.
Real quick, Tiz Gang. Usually I would drop a sponsor thing here, but you know, Anchor, go fuck yourself. When you know, your check cuts were like, you know, pennies to the dollars. It's like we don't need sponsors here anymore. We do this shit for reals. And even though I'm gonna upload it on your platform, I'm not fucking doing an ad for you anymore.
No.
But I really, 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 really want to do two more things. I want to talk about mental health. We need to talk about that one.
Mhm.
And also, with that being said, we need to talk about all right, Tiz Gang. So I know we've been all over the place today. We have about three more things to talk about. One of them is going to be mental health a little bit, but I do really, this is going to go back to the stock market, but Tiz Gang, you need to know what the hell's going on out here, right? And I know I have given you plenty of knowledge of what is going on in the market. I called it back in fucking December. I mean, I legitimately saw the moving averages, and look what happened. I'm not sitting here being that guy saying I called it, but when the Omicron crash happened, I mean, I pulled out, dude, and it was because of what I was seeing. And guess what? Everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody was like, no, and then you know, January 4th, SPY hit all-time high at 480. Yesterday, SPY was at 405. That is about just slightly over a 16% correction in a 4-month period. That's a bear market, my friend. And that's SPY. QQQ is even worse. Well, no, QQQ is just about worse. Anyways, I want to share a video with you, Tiz Gang, and I'll skim through it if he starts babbling, but just check this out because he's going to be talking about the Fed tomorrow, and you guys need to know about this. If you guys are buying houses or you're getting credit cards or you're, you know, getting used cars, I mean, this is all going to affect you people. All right. So,
all right, ladies and gentlemen,
can you hear
I
it?
hope you are ready for this watch list. It is very important. Tomorrow is all about this man right here. He got the whole pal in his hands. He got the whole pal in it. Okay, anyways, but TLT is back, baby. Yes, I'm going to use this watch list to talk about TLT and what could possibly happen to bond starts tomorrow. And best of all, we're going to go through some Fed history. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got Jerome Powell tomorrow. 2 p.m. Eastern time is when the report comes out. And then 2:30, that I don't know what that looks like on camera, but 2:30, that's when the press conference happens. And actually, it will be the first press conference in person and not held on Zoom. So it's going to be exciting. Expect a move at 2 p.m. Expect another bigger move from 2:30 to the end of close. There is going to be a lot of things we need to talk about. I'm going to recap the main things for tomorrow, and then we are going to talk about what sort of stocks and especially bonds can be affected. So drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you are subscribed, and hopefully we see you on stream, baby. YouTube.com/TheStockMarket. Do you see me spitting everywhere? Okay, anyways. All right, man, I'm just hyped, but let's get the quick rundown. Tomorrow, Powell, 2 p.m., that's when they release the written statement. 2:30, he comes on and speak. Now, why is this one so important? Because he is going to do a double rate hike. Last Fed meeting, the Fed has began raising rates the first time since like the great financial crisis or like 2018. 2015. I guess we've done it before, but that was the first time we raised. It was a quarter point. This will be double the size. And now the main point for tomorrow is what he says about balance sheet reduction, the plan in June, and how they plan to go about it. And we even talked about it today. One big question he's probably going to get asked is, how does he feel about the state of the market? Is this what the Fed intended? We know the market has been doing his job, but this will be a big question. But all eyes are going to be on balance sheet reduction. And why do I say that? Because that could scare the market into new lows, or if there was going to be something positive, if he kind of slowed that one down but did the double rate hike, then things could be pretty decent. So for context, this is where the SPY was at last time we had the Fed meeting. The actual ECMI says that the market went down, but you could see we were dealing with some of the invasion stuff and all of that, but that actually led to a 2 or 3 week rally, so not too bad there. But this time is going to be interesting, but it is very straightforward. We need to see what is going to happen. Like I said, there might be a false reaction, or in the sense of I'm kind of expecting the market to go up afterwards, especially with some of the earnings being good, at least AMD and Airbnb today. I mean, Uber and Lyft, they did bad. That one was awful, but I think things could be a little bit better. We will really see, but in a weird way, I think the main thing is going to be in bonds. So that's what I want to talk about. Again, Powell, be there live on stream. Any developments, we will call it out if it is important. We're going to get the follow-up, but like I'm saying, the number one thing I'm looking at right now is all about the balance sheet reduction. Now, let's talk about bonds. Why do I think bonds are so important? Because I told you, this is the first time that the Fed will be doing a double rate hike since the year 2000. And then when I go back and look at other times where they have done a double rate hike, we see some interesting effects, and that's what I want to go over, because now the question is, will there be a TLT play, or in some essence, it may do the opposite. I mean, what I'm trying to say here is the last time, not 2020, but the first time that we hit TLT, it was $100 into 10,000. That was because it was the first time that they raised rates in like 10 or 20 years, and then it was also going to be the other time where they go against the market and did not want to raise after the 40-year precedent. So you may not understand if you haven't been following the Fed, but coming into this situation, I think we kind of have that on our hands again, where it's this time now, it's either the Fed is going to listen to the market, which I think they will, and keep the precedent, or they're going to do now the first rate hike in 22 years, first double rate hike. So why is this important? Because if it was going to do the opposite of the first TLT, that means it is guaranteed for the rates to go higher. So that's now a difficult proposition, because for the last 3 or 4 months, we've watched rates go the highest since the Civil War, and crazier just statistics with it. And even now it's up, but this is what I got from the analysis. So let's start with March 2000, the last double rate hike. You could see here, here's the interesting one. The rate hike occurred in March 2000. You could see it went from 6 to 6.5, but look at what happened there in February. that was 5.75. But you notice this right here, it says surprise. It was a surprise tightening. So I thought that one was interesting. But now let's take a look at the bonds and where they were at. And this is where it gets interesting, because around March 2000, the rates were around like 5.75 and they went up a little bit, but then the yields went down. That would mean TLT going up. So last time they did it, it went down. The yields started to go down. But what do you notice prior? The actual full year leading into it, they ran up. So it's kind of very similar to what we have there, where they were kind of reaching a bottom, then they had this epic run up, and then things cooled out, and then I led into a stock market crash. But keep this one in mind, okay? Keep that in mind. So that one's similar. That's the one-of-one events where pretty much they did the double rate hike and TLT went up. Yields started to come down after already running. So that's the first time. Now let's go to the second time, and this is the one that I made a video on not too long ago. Remember, we talked about 1993 and 1994. That is what James Bullard was bringing up with a soft landing that was effective. They actually accomplished it. They raised rates. They raised them high. They did actually what? I think they even did 3/4 of a rate hike that year. The stock market in the next decade, it was absolutely fine. But here is that moment right here. It is April 1994. So you could see they went from 3.75 to 4.25. That is double tightening. Nothing too crazy there. But now let's go to the bonds, and you could see it's another one of these little bottoms and then crazy movements here with the bonds. But again, this time around, leading into the double rate hike, the bond yields were already moving big. But this time around, you can see it kind of stagnated for a little bit and then continued to go a little bit higher. And actually, the ironic part was they raised the rate. So from April 1994, or that May, leading into like May 1995, that's actually when they started to cut rates. And then that is when the bonds actually started to come down there. So it was pretty interesting to see. But in this case, you had a double rate hike. The bond yields continued to climb after climbing just a little bit more, and then once they started calming down, the bond markets began to retreat once again. So now, two different instances. One instance, we did a double rate hike 2000. The bond yields started coming down. They had a run up prior. Instance number two, 1994, the bond yields actually stayed stagnant and continued to climb slowly up until they started cutting rates. And then the rates started coming down, but they also had a run up in rates leading into the double rate hike. And now the final event, and this is where it gets crazy. This is where it gets even better, because now you're going to see it. But 1987, ladies and gentlemen. So this one is where we get a little bit of a fun fact. But March 1987, we did a double rate hike. You could see here, we go from 6% to 6.5%. And now here's how it looks on the bond chart. Look at this right here, man. Look how crazy this is. And if you don't know why I'm freaking out, I'm talking about the 1987 stock market crash. Okay, but take a look here. You can see the bonds had a bunch of volatility, big drops, big pops leading into this. And you can see now this 1987 double hike, it was right there at the bottom, right here at April. Rates were like at 8.1, and you could see it moved up the bottom. But then after those rate hikes leading into it, it started to go up. But what do you think was in September, October 87? They kept rising all the way up until then. And then you have Black Monday, the 1987 stock market crash. But here's where it gets better. Look at the fun fact. There was no target rate from October 19 to November 3rd due to the stock market crash. In a weird way, they kind of abandoned policy or expectations, and then they started trimming for the next couple months, the next 4 or 5 months. You could see what bonds ended up doing, this little thing until they began rising away, but that actually stopped the bond yields and stopped this volatility, and then led into this big downward cycle. So literally now, this instance, what happened, double rate hike, it moved up prior. It ended up going higher, and this one involved a crash or some sort of bigger volatility following thereafter. But you could see now the difference between all of these. Pretty much 2 out of the last 3 times you have seen the rates actually continue to go slightly higher. It does eventually chill out, and then rates, pretty much in every single time, the rates end up coming right back down. So we're already aware of that. We've been talking, again, that's the rate cutting cycle, but it's it's interesting to see how these different events gave them very different wiggle room, but there is one event where the rates actually started to go down, and that was in 2000. So hopefully this helps. This is why tomorrow is important. You know, my assessment and what do I guess? I feel like we may go up a little, but I think it really just depends on the volatility. Pretty much, if we are not going to get much bigger volatility and we're dealing with just valuations and people scared, I think it'll play out with 2000 and TLT may actually go up. Otherwise, I think if food, energy, inflation, and other things get worse, I think it might play up where we might see a second half of rates going up. But now I think this might start to be the second half of rates, you know, and the yields going up. We may start to see things slow down or get volatile, kind of like 87. But depending on how that plays out, it's just going to create it. But now the next move would be, when does TLT go up? But tomorrow's going to be an opportunity. We're going to talk about it. I know I spent a lot of time on that. We only made, I think I sold out of the ARLPs today, and I cut the UNG weeklies. Remember, we cut out the next week's yesterday. Those went up like 100, 150%. Got out of both of those. I bought an NTR as the follow-up. We talked about that one yesterday, and that was pretty much it. There wasn't anything else. Again, Airbnb, going to be watching it for the follow-up. Like I said, they killed it, but it really depends on the analysts like we saw with Expedia, but they're looking pretty good. There may be even a post-earnings play with that, but now tomorrow I'm actually going to be focusing on bank stocks and TLT, and I think we're going to get a big move, and depending on where things go by the end of this week, I mean, people are going to start positioning for the next quarter, so I hope you're ready, baby. But that is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure Hydrate Healthy ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shine. I need you to remember, help ain't on the way. It's already there, baby. So let's go, baby. It's the chat. I love you. Stay hydrated. Stay healthy. I forgot what I'm going to say here, but get ready. Tomorrow will be historical, and you're living through it, baby. Glad to do it with the chat. I love you. Peace out, and I'll see you in the morning, baby. Goodbye. I'm about to... Okay, that was...
All right, shout out to the boy Josh. That dude's on another planet sometimes, bro. Horn. But anyway,
so looks like the reception is
shut up. Oh, so Josh, my boy, not my boy, but I watch him every day. So
I think, yeah, I mean, TLT, I love TLT, so I'll be watching. I might buy a damn straddle because it doesn't sound like he knows which way it's going to go, but he knows.
Well, we don't. It's going to be contingent on the Fed.
I'm just going to buy some fucking strangles.
Yeah, strangles, not straddles.
Strangles, baby. Maybe a straddle. Maybe a straddle. Well, I'm buying a fucking, maybe a strangle and a straddle. I'll probably buy a shit ton of fucking,
you can always go look it up on options profit calculator, Tizgang, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, it don't matter what it's called, but what we're going to do, I'm going to trade both directions on that play.
I mean, it's TLT. That's the best way to do it.
TLT. It's dynamite.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, here before we end the show, I really just want to end it with the mental health stuff here. And how much time is this thing going to give me till it cuts me out? It's not telling me, but okay. So, anyways, Tizgang, real quick. Oh, you know what? Announcements and shouts, and then we'll do that. And we'll end it with the mental health talk. So, announcements and motherfucking shouts. So I want to give I gotta go back in time here, man. I got my glasses off. I had to take them off. Let's go back a week or two. So let's see. My boy Kelly Losi. Kalo, what up, dude? Happy, really belated April 18th. I did send you a birthday wish. Lindsay Massa Fritz, Joseph's ex-wife, 420.
I don't believe Fritz is in her name anymore.
But it says it on here.
Oh, okay.
It's actually Lindsay Massa Smith. And then Friday, April 22nd, Marissa Ramey. Shout out to the girl. That was also Earth Day. And then we got my boy Jordan Bowie that I met when I was in Minnesota in rehab like 12 years
Oh,
ago.
nice.
Peter Marshall. You remember him?
Mm.
You probably wouldn't. Peter Marshall turned.
Oh yeah, the little guy.
Yeah, 34. He turned 34 on April 27th, and I gotta give a very, very, very special happy birthday to our boy BP Bronson Powell.
Yeah.
Birthday was on Friday, April 29th. I went to his grave, and I found out that Sabrina was buried right next to him, which was weird for me to see that.
That is kind of wild.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It is what it is. And then on Saturday, this past Saturday, the 30th of April was my sweet mother's birthday. She just turned 66.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, mama.
66, that's a big one. She's on the Medicare now.
Yeah, and she gets is it 401k or is it
Yeah, I think you can
Social
cash
Security. Social Security.
Yeah.
Yeah, she says she's gonna start getting that. And then we got Kaylee Crochet, Sunday, May 1st. And then we also got James Coffey, rest in peace. I don't know when he died.
James Coffey died?
Long time ago.
I didn't know that shit.
Yeah.
I went to middle school with James Coffey, man.
I went to elementary school and I went to high school with the guy. I don't remember.
How did he die?
Drug overdose. And then we got Cinco de Mayo in 2 days, guys. What's up? And since since I'm not going to be able to do this for probably, who knows what we'll do the next one. Brendan Lackey, you don't know who that is. Happy birthday. It's coming up on Friday the 6th, which Friday at 6 is going to be a weird day for me because that was the day we found out that Charlie was killed.
Ah.
Yeah, it's been 3 years.
Wow, man. Time flies, man.
I hate that day. And what's up with my girl Sarah Feber out of New York? I met that girl and her brother Dan in Israel when I went on my trip.
What's her name?
Sarah Feber. She lives in New York.
Fever?
Feber.
Oh.
Jewish, obviously, birthright. Yeah. But when I went on that trip with Hussein.
Oh shit.
That was almost 10 years ago now. And then we have Mother's Day on the 8th. But get your mothers some good stuff. Okay. Appreciate your.
Yeah, I should have got him drunk and left him on the other side of the border.
Oh my God. Okay, that'll be it for now. Yeah, I could say something really like inappropriate about somebody's anniversary and she's got big cheeks. But yeah.
Fuck it.
Ain't worth the time. Okay, well that's it with the shout outs on that. But how much time do we have? And then so I really want to talk about the mental health thing. I mean, since we have 10 minutes, so it cuts. I don't know how many of you struggle with mental health. I thought I never did till basically about a year ago, and I had like a blackout kind of thing, like Tony Soprano style, it was just like really weird, and it scared the shit out of me because I used to give my sister shit for just always being anxious and panic attack and things like that, but I think I just worked myself just so hard and didn't give myself a break, and I literally collapsed on my office floor, and I had to go home, and I don't live very far from my office, and I had to call a good sweet friend of mine, Susie Q, who's been on the Tiz Talk podcast, because I was like, Susie Q, I'm terrified. I just got to my apartment. I already passed out once on the ground. I don't know what's going on. I think it's a panic attack, and I just need someone to make sure that like, I'm at my house. Like if I fall down and knock myself out, like, I don't know. And so she picked me up and she made me feel better. But after that, I was okay. But I can say this, April, again, like I was saying earlier, was just so rough. It was so rough for me. I there were days I was laying on my floor in my living room. I wasn't going into the office. I was ignoring people's calls. I was ignoring Two Woke's calls, guys. I just
Was.
didn't have it in me to talk to anybody. And I mean, I felt sick because I was so depressed. I was so depressed for all sorts of reasons. I mean, it could have been finances. It was, this time of year, Bronson passed, and it just brings back all this shit. And Charlie, same month, and it's just like, and I'm not saying that's what it is. I mean, I like to bottle things up, but what I've started to realize is I suffer from it. The 75% of April, I was a miserable shit. I almost just quit because I didn't want to talk to anybody. I was like, holy shit, I'm done. But it's funny when you're so down, and it took me a while to realize this. Okay, like, I was literally a fucking miserable shit. I wasn't answering anybody's phone calls. I'm laying on my floor. I'm not going into the office. I'm taking calls when I have to. And sometimes I just blew some of those calls off because I was in such a fucking fucked mental state. There's so many factors that I can point to, but I think it had a lot to do with, my poor performance in the market lately. And that's just stress all around when you trade options, right? 2, I had some deals fall apart on me. 3, I had people pulling me in every freaking direction, like that company I was telling you about earlier that was giving me the runaround. I'm touring all these, I get all these referrals, and then all of a sudden they just disappear. And so it's like, when you're all commissioned, so money is what they say the root of all evil. It's nice to have money and everything, but you know what I realized? Like, Tiz gang, I basically blew up my portfolio. I don't know if I should share the amount. It's bad.
Yeah.
30 racks.
Mm-hmm.
30 racks down in the past 6 weeks.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. For sure.
I got hit. I just got bad. The market's so wobbly, and I was doing really risky shit. And so yeah, I'm 30 racks down, and that's a lot of money for me currently. And fuck, man, like that didn't help with the situation. And but what I found out, how and I know I am not the only one that suffers from this, and I'm totally open to talk about this now because I'm not embarrassed. It's just men go through it too, people. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm realizing that, and at the same time, as Ross Bolin says, you are not alone. And I'm sure he's not the only one that says that, but you are not alone. Fucking pick up the phone. It doesn't have to be a fucking therapist. And you know what? Now they have the technology where you can, I forgot the name of the apps, but you can just do virtual talks with your therapist. Have I done that? No. But you know why I haven't done that? Because I got a guy like Two Woke that I can talk to, and he can throw some sense in my, throw some sense at me. I mean, you've always done that for me. And then I have my mother. And
but you got to pick up the phone,
I know, but it's hard, man, when you're going through those funk times. You just don't want to talk. I can't explain it. I was sick. I felt sick because of my mental state. It made me feel sick. Now I didn't black out or anything like that, but it's real. And a lot of people suffer from this. And a lot of people are embarrassed to talk about it because you're a man and you don't suffer from this and yada, yada, yada. But you know what? I'm a fucking man. And I bottled this shit up so much to where, it's put me and my family in a weird position. Not my mom, but, my father and, my Miss Cheeks and all that. And I think it's coming around, but what I figured out was there's 2 things. You are only going to allow yourself to be miserable. You can either just be miserable shit or just get up and just walk out and take a walk, or call somebody if it's really that bad. If you're not ready to like spill the beans, that's fine. You don't have to. Do some meditating. Just realize this too shall pass. It's not permanent. Unless you're shooting like, heroin, meth, and living under a bridge and stuff. Yeah, I don't think you're gonna, you might not get out of those situations. But April was rough, man. April was
Yeah.
rough. I mean, I didn't know what I was gonna do, and I couldn't control it. I couldn't go into the office, and I just want everybody to understand that, like, look, it's okay, even as a guy, just reach out. And Two Oaks been a great support system to me. My mom's been a great support system to me. Susanna's been a great support system for me, even though we had our little falling out last year, but we're good now. Queen Andrea, you can basically just, disappear. I'm not going to say anymore, but just get out of here. How's that Shopify play looking for you? I might have to edit that up. But anyways, it's just reach out to a friend. If you don't want to go to a therapist, reach out to a friend. I was so bad that I didn't even call Two Oak, and I can call Two Oak about anything.
Yeah.
I ignored like 5 of his calls, and then I finally told him, I was like, look, man, I'm fucking going through it right now. Like, I don't know what it is. It was a little bit of the finance situation because I blew my account up. I have paper coming in, but like, rent was coming up, and now, you know what? It's all good. It's all good. I just have to tell myself, when you're at the bottom, the only way to go is to go up. So you might as well just smile and laugh and just fuck it. I mean, if you can't pay your rent, or you can't pay your credit card bills, and that's the shit that's stressing you out, you have no control over it, and just say, fuck it. I mean, it's going to fuck your credit up if you can figure out a way to do it. But like, at the end of the day, like, I realize whenever they call me trying to collect, I'm like, I don't have the money. What do you want me to do? And they're just like, what? You can't get, they're like, we're willing to give you a $10 a month thing, to give. I'm like, I don't have it. I mean, I did, but $10.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
But it's just like, it was one thing after the other. And then I had my fucking father, one of the credit card companies called his office. And then next thing I know, he's saying Chase Slate and this, that, and the other, because I have a lot of credit card debt. I mean, whatever. I mean, it's all good. But I just want to say that it's so, because usually when I have an issue, Two Oak and Susanna are going to be the first 2 people I call, because Two Oak always has that word of wisdom. And but I also realize it's like, man, life's too short to be stressed about shit. Like, I mean, like, it's hard to say. It's easier said than done, right? But it's easier said than done if you are struggling mentally. And I'm harping on this because I know my sister has struggled with anxiety like her entire life. Even though my sister can be such a bitch, she doesn't care about anybody herself. Do I love her as a sister? Yeah. Do I enjoy her company? Absolutely fucking not. I mean, it's the truth, though. I mean,
Yeah. No, I mean, all you can do is be real.
Her and his cheeks are very similar, and I've talked to family members and like Jocko and just other people. I mean, Cameron's kind of gone silent on me again. Yeah, man, there were times in April that I was so down that I would like go and lay in my bed at like 3 p.m. on a weekday and just pray for that sun to go down. So it's like nighttime. I just like didn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
It's just when you get in those funks, and it could be financial problems. It could be your girlfriend or your wife left you. But at the end of the day, Because I was talking.
Sometimes no problem at all, right? I mean, sometimes you just get in the funk, you know. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. And it's harder than it sounds, but like you're right. And the way I looked at it was, if it's out of my control, right? If it's out of my control, why in the fuck am I going to stress about it? Like
yeah, well,
if I had the opportunity to control it, that's a different story. But if
yeah.
I have no control over it, I have to teach myself to just,
You know
just
what
say,
OG Mandino said?
I'm not sure exactly, but maybe.
The spilt milk is sour. The spilt milk is sour.
What does that mean exactly?
So OG Mandino, author of The Greatest Salesman in the World, he says the spilt milk is sour, and what that means is like what's gone wrong or what's happened. It's already happened. There's no point in dwelling on it. So basically, like he's saying, like the spilt milk, there's no point in like trying to get something out of that spilled milk, right? Like it's sour, move on. Like, so even if you like, so say you had a fresh glass of orange juice, right? And you spilled it. Are you going to sit there and try to recollect it and drink it with like, no, it's gone. So just consider it sour, consider it done. Like, don't dwell on it is what he's saying. So you spilt the fresh milk, consider it sour. It's done. Like it's gone. Don't forget about it. You know what I mean? That's what he means by that.
Well, I mean, same concept as I was just saying.
Yeah.
It's just a little different. I feel that. And
the spilled milk is sour.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
Maybe we get to put some sour spilt milk on the crack on the wall behind you, a little paint.
Yeah.
But yeah, just getting like, listen, and again, not to steal a line from Ross Vaughn, but you are not alone. Like, you think you're the only one going through it? No. Sometimes I found myself in positions of having no money and being happier than having money and not being as happy.
Yeah, well, I always say, man, like, just think about it like this. Like, right now, say you had, $500,000 in your bank account, right? Say you had $100 in your bank account right now. What difference right now does it actually make?
It doesn't. But people get their minds wrapped up on it because, those aren't large amounts of money. And I don't know, man.
It's the financial stuff, like it's so easy to think if I had this, my life would be different. And it's like, it won't. It won't be.
No, most rich people are miserable.
Yeah, because you know what? One thing when you said earlier, it's not the money's not the root of all evil. The actual quotes, that's like one of the most misquoted quotes. The love of money is the root of all evil.
Okay, well,
I'm not correcting you. I'm just saying, but it's perspective.
No, the way you said it makes more sense. I get it, but this is something I've always said. I want to make a lot of money. I want to do that, right? But if all else failed, son, give me a backpack, my surfboards, my passport, and just some of the essentials I need. Get me down to Costa Rica, Indonesia. I don't care. I could run a coffee shop. I could run a bar and then just surf and be just as happy, if not more, than if I had $1 billion.
Yes. Yeah, for sure, man.
That's the way I look at it. But I mean, I'm a surfer. And so, it's like if all else fails, shit, I'm going to Costa Rica with my boards and opening up a thing. It's just like, it's however you look at what happiness in life is. If you're not happy what you do, but you make a lot of money, and you might not have a lot of money, but you could be living on the beach, surfing and serving drinks to fine women. And, it's all about what you want to do.
And the world will provide.
The world will provide. And I mean, a lot of people just want to be like the next Elon Musk or, all this shit. It's like, I don't even want to be that. I don't want to be that. Like, actually, I'm a private guy. Like, if I actually made like super amounts of money, obviously people will know, but I'm not going to go out there and flaunt it like fucking 50 Cent and all these motherfuckers out there. Like, it's like, I don't, why you want to show people how much money you got, dude? I mean, I get it, he's a rapper, but maybe that was a bad fucking example, but that would have been me in my 20s, most likely. But now, because in The Wolf of Wall Street ruined me at one point. Oh man, yeah, it did. When I found that movie, I was like, oh, it's over. This is gonna, I was looking for Quaaludes online. Like, I mean, I was, I was all about it. But, well, long story short, Tiz fam, feel free to, you can DM us through Spotify. They've like Anchor stepped it up a little bit. I mean, but so just we'd like to hear your stories, and hopefully me sharing my story helps. That's the whole point. I mean, that's what, in my opinion, this mental health thing, it's best to have a support system, whether it's a friend, whether it's a anyway. So
well, what got you out of it? Well, I mean, this funk, what would you say is the number one thing?
I realized it's like, I lost a lot of money in the market. I lost some deals that fell apart, that I was banking on. And it seemed like that wasn't looking good. And so when I lost the money in the market, it just made things more stressful, right? And that's why you see me trading very like unemotionally, because I'm not going so heavy like I just used to. I used to get really aggressive, and you've seen those plays.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to do with mental health. Is all I'm trying to say is like, look, again, you're not alone, and just reach out. I don't care if it's a therapist or anything, because you know what? You only live here once. If you're gonna wallow away in your own shit in your dark room and just be a miserable fuck, like everybody's just gonna feel so sorry for you, because that's not what's gonna be the case. They might want to help you, but they're not gonna sit there and pamper you, man. Like, get up off your ass. When you're at the very bottom of a situation, or if you feel, the only way to go is up from there. In my opinion, that's the way. And since it is that month, and I figured we'd talk on it, but
it sounds like what got you out of it was a little bit of a change of perspective. I mean,
100%.
You had to realize, like, okay, that's not what's important. I'm tripping over all these things that are temporary. I lost money. I can make more money. That kind of shit is always important to keep a perspective and to be able to change it when need be, and realize, like, oh, you got to have a baseline. That's what I always say in life, is like, you've got to have a baseline you can come back to, and I think philosophy is important to any human, but especially a man in any time. It's like philosophy is important because that's something you can go back to. Whereas if you're kind of just like willy nilly, and like if you're riding these ups and downs all the time, you can lose perspective. And then where do you go back to? And I think like a baseline and a true philosophy is really important in that way, because it's like you can remember that perspective and be like, you know what, let me snap out of this easier. Not saying it's, obviously when you talk, things sound easier than they are, but you can snap out of something easier if you have a thought line that you can go back to, you know what I mean?
And a support system, whether it's friends or whatever, whoever you choose. And I feel like I have a good support system, because I can call, you, or, even Brett, even Larry. I mean, and my mother, and I don't know, man.
Yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone.
No, you're not alone. And, it's just, I just want the Tiz gang to understand that you are not alone, but also just realize that you are only on this planet for one time. If you are unhappy with what you do, quit and just go do whatever it is. If it's traveling, I mean, I looked this up the other day. You could backpack around the world for basically like $10,000. You might have to take some side jobs, but I watched YouTube videos on this shit,
Yeah.
and that would be dope. I would love that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Did you want to touch on
Well, yeah, I think like, you know, perspective is everything. Like you were talking about money. And I think one reason I haven't really had too much issue with money, whether I'm light stacks, heavy stacks, like it doesn't really matter. Um, is generally because money isn't the goal for me. The goal is the other things behind it, right? Like
yes.
I enjoy my time and my thoughts and my, you know, other shit. So for me, money is secondary to the goals I have long term, which are not lofty. Like I don't want to have mansions and Lamborghinis. I want to have freedom. And I currently have freedom, but there's just an extra freedom when you don't have to make money for an extended period of time. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing to have a safety net, and it's another thing to like be retired or semi-retired and only do deals that you want to do or things that you're interested in or what, you know, whatever that looks like to you, you know.
Yeah.
For me, making money in America and retiring in the third world is a goal. Like that's what I want to do, you know, stretch that shit and make it, you know, just live a more fulfilled not a more fulfilled life. My life's fulfilled, but it's just like the money's secondary is the point. You know, it's just like the money on the screen doesn't really mean shit. It's the, you know, like even when I trade, it's not really the dollar, it's more the thrill. Sometimes I like getting mad. Like truly, I like getting like fired up about something like sometimes the losses like make you feel like it's just letting off steam a little bit, like, oh fuck, you know. And it's like, do I really give that much of a shit? No. But sometimes I just like to get pumped about something, whether it's good or bad. Like it's
No,
kind of
I
like
mean, I feel you on that. I
it's
mean,
like hitting a punching bag. You know what I mean? It's like,
yeah.
bam, you know, you're like, oh, that felt kind of nice. You know, like you know. And so I don't even know where I'm going with that, but it's always comes back to perspective for me. Like mental health is always perspective. Like because at the end of the day, like one thing that nobody who's in a bad space likes hearing is like, it's all in your head, but life is all in our head, right? Like however we take things and however however we're seeing things, it's all we've created our realities, you know, and like it's much easier said than done to snap out of the reality we've created. But at the end of the day, I think with work and determination and expanding horizons and sometimes all this digital shit, I think really fucks with us, right? Like even though we can do a lot of positive shit online, I think sometimes
when you
just
say that, what are you referring to?
just everything like stocks and news and like even social media and just like even just reading like really raw stuff that's like good, like maybe has a lot of good information in it. I just think sometimes it just helps suck us into like a smaller world, even if it's giving us new information.
No,
Whereas like,
I agree. I agree.
and I think like reading a book sometimes, or like something that's more analog, or even a hobby, like something that just it doesn't have anything to do with money. It doesn't have anything to do with like trying to improve, like just doing something just for the like enjoyment of it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like whether it's making beats, like you just sent me like the sickest beat I think I've heard you really make. You know,
Really?
like,
You think that's the best one out of all the ones I've seen?
for my style of making
Well,
something
you
on
were
it,
good. You asked me to send you one, and I
and
did.
you did it, and I
I'm
appreciate
glad
it.
you liked it. I was like, the simpler, the better.
I like it a lot, and I'm going to make something on it, and I appreciate it. Like,
Dude, no, let's do a collab on it. Can you just write? You just have to write my lyrics.
okay, cool, yeah, and see, and I enjoy doing that. Like sometimes I write shit down. Like sometimes late at night, especially, I'll just like write some shit, never use it, never even look at it. And I have notes.
Can I play the? I can. Can I play the foo bar?
Yeah.
So Tiz gang, I'm gonna play you this right now. This was shit, me and Larry did this in like October 2020.
Oh,
But
nice.
I've sound engineered it multiple times, like over since then. And honestly, like some of the guys on Discord are like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what? Like, because the lyrics are so on point. You did such a good job. I'm not the best lyricist. I can spit fast lyrics. Like Eminem, beast mode, motherfucker's about to get hit with so many foul lines. You think I'm a free throw? Figured it was about time for people to eat crow. You about to get out, Rum? How could I be dethroned? I stay on my toes like the repo, a behemoth, the cheat clothes from the East Coast to the West. I'm the ethos and amigo. Who the best? I don't gotta say a fucking thing though, because MCs know. But you don't want to hear me spit the fact your shit is ass like a tailbone and your rat. And anyways, I'm telling you, I can do it. I can spit. I just can't write.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah. I
got that
mean,
shit.
yeah.
But we're gonna end this with the dun 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 dun. All right, y'all ready for this? Y'all are gonna think this is insane. Can you hear it?
Yeah. It's a little quiet. Oh, never mind. It's loud.
You got Larry Sellers in the house. Tiz on the tracks, Tiz on the beats. We doing this shit, motherfucker. If you didn't think we could, then y'all just a bunch of fucking losers. Shout out for Chuo for writing my lyrics. He's my ghostwriter. Over here, so get ready for this. The big Tiz, smoke the lid, sip it scissor. My bitch thicker than a DQ blizzard. The Jewish wizard, write my rhymes right to left. Invented interest rates, the ultimate theft. Look how he brew up, a hot one. He brew the chosen people, you're not one. You're getting jealous, man, but it was all kosher. Your bitch just asking me to sign a fucking poster like a bunt. I had to hit it and had to run. Scored from third base, you knew it was so fun like a dung beetle. I'm on top of shit, but like a drug needle. I'll get you fucking lit, no pillow talk, cause that shit can cost you hours. So groovy, baby, call me Austin fucking Powers. Super freak, you call me Rick James. Your bitch won't stop calling cause I got so much dick game. That was my good baby right there, you know. I just got that voice, dude. Hoes? Drugs? I don't know. Tiz on the track. Drugs and hoes, drugs and hoes, drugs and drugs and hoes, drugs and hoes, drugs and drugs and hoes, drugs and hoes, drugs and drugs and hoes, drugs and hoes, drugs and. The time of chimpanzees, I was a monkey. Now I'm at the bar, beating the pope out of a drunkie with the plastic black guns. Shoot up the vegetables, back to the bronze with yoga pants, no pantyhose. Kill my enemies, put them in neutral. My style is wild, I live life on cruise control. Chill with big tits that love vitamin D. A couple of drug types, I'll pop the narkies. Dealing with a boss, it's insane to complain. You'll end up deader than ash in the dirt. I get head, some women can't breathe. Larry. You'll get dusted like dirt off the sleeve, so hide your face at some place in the dark. I'll be with bougie bitches getting trashy like a trailer park. Drugs and hoes, drugs and hoes, drugs and drugs and hoes, drugs and hoes, drugs and drugs and hoes, drugs and hoes, drugs and drugs and hoes, drugs and hoes, drugs and. Larry, what do you think about drugs or hoes? I don't know. Because I can't make my mind up.
And me? Well, shit, I'm a hoe for the drugs. Shrooms in Amsterdam, cocaine in Paris. My bitch fast and wet, call her Polaris.
Tosh in Vegas, popping pills careless. Ride with my bitch, 360 my Polaris.
What you wanna do, T?
How you wanna do it?
Don't even matter, just keep the money moving.
Don't really matter, just fuck your bitch stupid.
Tiz, bring it back one time. Everywhere I go, I see the same hoes. Everywhere I go, I see the same hoes. Everywhere I go, I see the same hoes.
Drugs and hoes, drugs and hoes, drugs and.
Wow, these Earth Girls is easier than ever.
Wait, Earth Girls are easy, like Jim Carrey the movie?
Nah, like Jim Carrey, I came on her face and it left a mask.
Like a corona mask?
Nah, like a semen mask.
Like a semen, like at sea?
A dog, but they don't want a dog.
But they like cats, because they have cats?
They want a dog, because it's like, it's on fire.
FYI.
work the middle for your ass, girl. And don't you ever forget, it's Tiz and Larry. Shout out 2-0, shout out Stiz, shout out Lucas, shout out to everybody. And all y'all, peace. Welcome to the motherfucking party.
All right. Well, I think this is a great show, and I might have to do some editing, but this is Tiz Talk Podcast. We don't need to really edit shit, but well, sometimes we do, but we'll figure it out. But anyways, the way I like to structure this, and Tua sometimes is not ready for it, but did you want to speak on the sports real quick?
Oh, nothing. I was just gonna say, man, like I haven't watched much basketball in a long time, but man, these playoffs have been like sick.
No,
dude.
you sent me that text last night, and I was like, "These games have been good." But I didn't say that, but I mean, Dude, they've been letting them play. Like they have not been calling all these bullshit fouls. Like it's been kind of throwback. Like they've been really letting them play, man. I've seen some like incredible close games. Like NBA's kind of, if they let them keep playing like this. Shit, man, like it's pretty good product they're putting out right this second. So yeah, and then I know, and I agree with you. I really do. I agree with you. And then what do you think about the Texans picks in the draft? I mean, I think we might have a shot with these guys.
To be honest, I don't even know. I haven't even paid attention.
I didn't pay too much. I know some of the guys. They took a guy from LSU. He was a O-line, I think. I forgot his name. I mean, I don't pay too much attention to sports and all that, but basically, Tiz Gang, thank you so much for joining the show this evening today. This is gonna get posted tomorrow, and then we'll really know what the interest rates are like. But I always like to do this. I'm gonna do my social media handles and everything. So you can find me on my Instagram. It's at Taylor TAYLOR _SCHEPS Taylor _Sheps. I have a YouTube channel. I'll drop the link in the thing. Also, did you want to drop any of those yet? Or are you not ready?
What's that?
Your handles.
No. I got a little podcast I'm working on. I only have
I forgot, dude. I listened to the whole thing. That was great because that was like mental health shit right there.
Yeah, and I got another one coming, man. And that one was just a straight up freestyle. Like I didn't write any of that. It was just an intro episode.
I listened to the whole thing. I thought it was great.
Thanks, man. Yeah, but the second episode, I'm putting a little bit more effort into. It's a philosophy podcast. I want it to be more like just about.
Is it going to be a little audio? Or are you going to do video or what?
Just audio, probably. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video once in a while, but
I mean, obviously, if you need help doing it, I know how to do all this stuff. So
yeah.
Yeah,
appreciate that. So, I'm just this next one's pretty dope. Like I was watching a movie the other night, and it just started. For me, the thing is like I'm not gonna make a job out of it. So like what I do is just, for me, usually late at night or in the shower. The theme of the show is thoughts from the shower, basically. Like it's like, because that's when I take long showers, man, and I meditate.
Oh yeah, guys, he loves hot long showers.
So that's when I meditate. Like I didn't really realize it till recently. Like I meditate every day for at least 30 minutes because I'm in that shower and I'm zoning, man. Like I take trips. Like I don't know where I'll be at. You know what I mean?
Take trips to the moon.
My wife will walk in and I'll like get startled because I'm so like, I don't even know where I'm at, but I'm deep in some thought, and so for me, the shower, I meditate every fucking day because
I used to be like that, but I feel like when I'm on the move, I'm just like jumping in and cleaning and out. Like I used to take hot showers, but
yeah. Well, no, man, for me, it's like fundamental. Like that's when I just clear my head and get really just have cool thoughts. And so that's what this podcast is about. It's about trying to get into my head when I'm in the shower.
What's the name of it?
It's called Positive Philosophy. It's on Spotify. I think it's on Anchor.
We'll put the link in the bio.
Yeah, positive philosophy. I got some pretty good feedback. I only told a couple people about it on the first episode, but everybody said it was pretty dope. Maybe they're just being nice, but I think it was a good intro. It wasn't really like getting deep. It was just a real intro, surface level episode. The next one's going to get a little bit deeper for sure. And
Are you
then
doing them all solo? Are you trying to bring in a guest every now and then? Or
I really wanted it to be.
man, I'm not gonna hate. I'm asking.
No, it was the thought of it was to be the thoughts of me in the shower. So that's kind of the goal of the show.
I like it.
But yeah, you know what I mean. After a few episodes, I'd like to have you on, have other guests.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm also,
we've been running strong for fucking over 2 years now.
yeah, that's awesome.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
That's crazy, dude. Now that the listenership has gone down for sure and all that.
Well, we've been more sporadic. I think
it's
we'll give the
it's okay.
fans.
I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it. This is.
Well, I feel like this show has turned into more cathartic for just us, like than.
Well, I mean, but you know what? People still dig it, or they did. Like they
Yeah.
were really digging it at one point, and
Yeah.
I think it's just the gaps of episodes.
Too many gaps. I agree.
But you know what?
develop-
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm trying to develop another show that's really again more for my pleasure. You know me, I'm like a fundamental business stock guy.
And I'm the technical guy.
Yeah, and I've been doing it a long time, so I know how to read balance sheets. I know how to, I know.
Yeah. See, wait. So I'm a technical guy. I follow support, resistance, VWAPs, like things like that. Tuo understands that, but at the end of the day, he follows and makes decisions on entries or exits based on the fundamentals behind the company.
Yeah, so,
I typically just really, really follow the technical side, support, resistance, VWAP, because technically they do tend to mine those levels.
Yeah, and I'm more of a long-term investor anyway. So what I really want to do, and really I shouldn't even talk about it till I do it because I feel like that's where ideas
just
die.
save it. Just say hey, because we can if you have the info. Well, that's your new one, but you're the one.
I'm going to put it out there just because anybody that maybe have somebody that would even step up to be maybe one of the first ones, but. What I'd like to do is play to people's egos and try to call some CFOs, CEOs of smaller companies and just see if I can do a quick interview with them just to ask about their industry, their business.
That's what you were telling me you were going to do.
Yeah, and I'm going to. And so soon, very soon. And
well, good for you, man. I mean, like this is the best time to do it. You know what I got to say? I'm not trying to cut you off. I got lucky. Because I started the podcast in 2019, and when the pandemic hit, like everybody had a podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like a little ahead of the game, and that's where the 35,000 audio subscriber came from. But that all kind of just if you're gonna do something, you better be consistent about it. You're gonna lose your fan base. So the numbers have gone down, but this is for fun. This is therapy for me. And I still got the followers. And at the end of the day, whatever I end up doing in my life, like this is something I'm never gonna stop doing.
Yeah. What I'm learning is just like all the things I do, especially on the side, trying to gear my life to where I get to do things that I enjoy doing. And
what's the point of life if you aren't enjoying what you're doing?
Yeah. And making
point of
money
being
at
fucking miserable doing something you don't like.
Yeah, like real estate investing, I enjoy working with buyers and sellers. I like working with sellers, and I do have listings, and I work with builders.
Trust me, I was considering quitting like recently. I was like, I'm over it.
Yeah,
I'm done. But I didn't.
Yeah, no, and I'm glad you didn't. I mean, I think
I'm about to get my broker's license here soon, and when I get it, chunk deuce to the front. And then I can make that decision on what I want to do going forward from there.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I might just go travel the world for a little bit and just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do it by myself too. Just gonna go.
My goal is semi-retired by 45, travel and live somewhere cool, whether it's
right. Well, you got a wife and everything. I'm single. I mean, I can just pick up and go.
So can I.
with your wife or
Yes, with my wife. Yeah.
yeah, well, okay. I had to ask.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I can literally, at the end of the day, if I'm like, fuck this, like I'm gonna just get the paper I have, and I mean, honestly, I might be out of my where I live right now soon because it's just the situation I'm in, and it's gonna give me more freedom to maybe make that decision. It's like, you know what? Do what you love. Like if you're miserable at your job, I mean, don't burn bridges. Like do the right thing. If you're gonna leave, like just kind of like make it as transition as possible. You'd ever want to burn bridges. I burned plenty of bridges.
Yeah. Well, we all have. I mean, everybody's done it.
Yeah, the family thing has gotten a little strange.
Well, I mean, just personal. I mean, advice.
Well, no.
I've
I
told you.
mean, I'll tell you about this when we hang up here. It's something that I just not going to put on the air. But yeah, I mean, that's it, guys. I think tonight was a good one, and we shall see what happens on May the 4th be with you tomorrow with the Fed decisions, because it's going to make a big difference on what happens with the stock market.
Yeah.
We'll see. We shall see.
Oh yeah, TLT baby. I set my alarm.
Shout out to Josh and the Chad. Shout out to Josh and the Chad. But yeah, all right, Tua. Well, thank you so much for coming on tonight. It's been well overdue. And Tiz Gang, you know where to follow me. I mean, like I said, just Tiz Talk Podcast on Instagram at Tiz Talk Podcast. You can also find my personal account at Taylor_Sheps. I sometimes make videos about, what's going on in the market, YouTube. I'm trying to get better at it, but you got to do your legal obligations for the love of a taco. Will you please just do your legal obligations and tell 5 people, 10 people about this podcast? And that's really all we ask. And just like, subscribe, and give us some thumbs up. And if we can see an influx of that, we will make better and better content as time goes on. Because I'm gonna keep doing this. Like it ain't over. I mean, we're coming up.
Yeah, we just enjoy doing it, bullshitting.
Well, yeah, I mean we do, but I'd like to make a little bit.
But we don't put the time into it,
because we're busy people. We busy.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah.
But we still do it. We've never stopped. We never gave up on it.
No.
2.5 years and gunning, baby.
Nice, man. That's tight.
I appreciate you always being on board to do it, man, because, nobody wants to hear Tiz talk about his problems alone. If I'm talking about the stock market on like my live videos, that's one thing. But anyways, just Tiz Gang, I got a couple words. Get your fucking mind correct, people. And this goes back to mental health. Get your mind correct. Okay. And once you get your mind correct, keep your mind correct. Because that's the fucking hardest part, ain't it, Tuo?
Oh, yeah.
Keeping it correct.
Yeah.
It's easy to get it correct, but to keep it correct, so, and then on the other note, Stiz, I love you. Holler at the Tiz for honor. To getting honor. To staying honor. If you can't come in her, come on her. And the last thing is the Tiz doesn't ask why. He asks why not. Life's too short. That's all I got. Do you got anything to say?
Nah, man, just dit and dat, and just keep it rolling, and yeah, that's it.